All right. Bring this guy inside here, and I will get the soldering iron set up and fired up because we've got some ICs to desolder. I have a spare 8155 and a spare 7574. I did not get a spare of the non-volatile RAM, but I think that's the only other chip that was on the bus that could have been hit, except for some, I think, generic 373s or something, which I think I have over there in case we need.
I think it was determined that it was only like the 7th and 8th bit, or the high bits that got hit, and the NVRAM is on the low bits, so it might be okay.
Yeah, that's our hope.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the computer didn't really like point out that its NVRAM was completely blitzed. So,
well, I think the check. Reese would have to chime in on this, but I think the check that it fails on is like the first check. So if like I don't even think it gets as far as checking the NVRAM.
Yeah, it hasn't got that far yet.
okay.
What's up, Reese?
And we also.
Hey, Usagi. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, that's right. First stream of 2026.
Yeah.
What are we going to change about Twitch and YouTube in 2026 to make it different than 2025?
Whatever it is, I predict that YouTube will get worse.
Yeah, I think that's a given.
Yeah.
We're pretty much at the point where even if YouTube gets a little bit worse, if Patreon support does not decrease, then I can continue doing this for a long time coming. Like Patreon's keeping me afloat, essentially. But it's enough that we can continue to, put food on the table and live our life. So, there's a certain amount of stress eliminated from YouTube doing weird things whenever I see like consistent Patreon support, which is excellent. But, if YouTube gets dramatically worse, that means that Patreon support won't grow and inflation does grow. So, that's kind of not great. But for 2026, as long as we don't hit a point where all of my patrons go, you know what, F this guy, I'm out. I think, we're good for all of 2026 for surviving 2026 financially, I hope. We're not quite paycheck to paycheck, but...
Yeah, my expected disaster is that something grievous happens to Patreon itself and everybody has to blind jump platforms.
Yeah, and if that happens, something will fill the void. Something like the desire is there for people to support the creators that they enjoy. That's what I was looking for. But that interim time between everybody jumping ship and the new standard being decided is what is going to make or break a lot of places.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Patreon already had their oh my god, everybody leave moment. Like they had a bit of a scandal at some point, and there was a lot of people that jumped ship. So that's passed. So they don't do that again.
No, I was thinking more along the lines of the thing that's actually on my 26 bingo card is payment processor drama specifically. So
I think that's what it was last time.
Yeah, that's showing no signs of slowing down. So
yeah.
But
Well-
we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
Yep, we just take this one
Yes.
day at a time, pretty much. Well. All right, I gotta get pretty much everything out of here again.
Oh, and we also figured out that the servo board, nothing. It's only used as extra I/O.
Okay.
Or at least that's what we think, because the device can operate without servos. It's a model.
Oh, as in like hand wound or whatever?
Bin only.
All right.
Yeah. So they don't rely on the servo board because they're not installing it in that model.
Yeah, but they may have changed. They may change the ROM firmware or something to match
They
that, right?
actually check for the presence of the board.
Hey, what's up, Soldering Code? Soldering Code? I know that name. Thank you for the Prime sub.
You're welcome.
There he is. I never know what name people want to use online because everybody has a different name depending on the service that they're on.
Yeah, so
That's
that's
good.
why mine's the same everywhere. I've always been Suzerain unless I absolutely cannot be. I've been using this name more or less continuously since the early 90s.
Yeah, that was me and Nakazoto until I started the YouTube channel of Usagi Electric, and that was the first time I had changed usernames since Hotmail.
I'd used my old CB name, but Mad Dog was taken.
Yeah, that one's common enough that people are going to steal it.
Yeah,
Good Lord.
the new thing that annoys me is
Thank you.
all the people trying to guess which anime or video game character I'm named for. I'm named for the flower. Christ.
Okay.
Which anime is the flower from?
Yeah.
There you go. Asking the real questions here. Yeah, if we hit a brick wall on this guy, which I am fully expecting that we will, because that's been modus operandi for it every time we work on it. I've got the old HP 150A out there that I want to tinker with as well, so maybe we'll get to that tonight. We'll see.
There's the other extreme. Everything goes fine and perfect, and then we need to do something else.
Yeah, and then we go to the scope because, you know, we crushed it. All right, that would be the servos out of the way.
Now, was the director name on this a reference to film or a reference to something else?
I have no idea. It looks like a reference to film because of the way that they've got the, you know, the paper tape strung up, but who knows?
K85TKR is the that one meme of the four Batmans pointing at each other, or
Spider-Man's.
four Spider-Mans pointing at each other, all wearing a trench coat.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I think that's actually from the Spider-Man shorts, or it's assembled from the Spider-Man shorts from the Electric Company, which I watched as a kid.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I was just making fun of their response about their name. They said, I assume you can't see chat. His response is,
Oh, yeah.
"You can call me whatever. I'm just a dude playing a dude that's pretending to be another dude." And so,
Oh, that's
poor
the.
Spider-Man wearing a trench coat.
Oh no, that's the. I thought that was the Tropic Thunder quote. I know who I
see, I
am.
never watched.
I'm the guy
I
playing
never
the
watched.
guy that's playing the other guy, or something like that, right?
I couldn't tell you. I never watched it.
There we go. I got it.
Yeah, apparently you got it.
Yeah, that's Robert Downey Jr. in one of his greatest roles ever.
Yeah, I
the dude
remember
playing
a
the
bunch
dude
of
that's disguised as
people in
another
that.
dude. There we go.
But amazingly, he didn't steal that film.
Yeah, I remember a bunch of
hilariously,
people
Tom
like,
Cruise.
like I don't know, this probably says more about me than anything else, but the one scene that I remember the most is the I don't want to say it on Twitch because it's inappropriate, but it's the line that Danny McBride says right before he kicks off the bomb. For some reason that scene is stuck in my head. It lives there rent free. I think that's because Danny McBride is hilarious, but
It's the whole thing with Tom Cruise at the end. That
yeah. The fat hands and he dances. That's great.
and apparently it's on point for a lot of Hollywood.
All right. So are we just going to replace the ADC chip out of the gate? I feel like we should. I feel like we're moderately confident that that's bad. And I have a spare one anyways.
Was it the 8155 that we thought was bad, or was it the 86?
Oh yeah, no, the
Or all of them?
8155 is definitely blasted. But that's on this board over here. That's on the other board.
Okay.
Yeah, that was so blasted it was holding down lines.
Yeah. Yeah, it's heavily blasted. But the ADC is U9. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and pull it out since I have a spare one anyways, and we'll just toss a socket in. It's a smaller one, so it'll be a good one to get my feet wet before I tackle the 8155 that has 9,000,001 pins. Let's see if I can get you guys an angle of what's going on here. Oh, I've positioned that perfectly, so it's blocked by chat. There we go. Yeah, before I go crazy, Reese, if you've got the schematic open, it is U9, right? That we're slightly
is.
concerned about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
Figured I'd
If
double.
swapping it doesn't work, if it doesn't work to swap it, then there's some other things we can look around U10 and U14 to see what might be going on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to snip the legs or anything, so I'm just going to socket it. So even if the chip isn't bad, we're not going to destroy it or anything. I mean, unless I get like really angry at it. We'll see how these desolder. So far, so good. This one might prove to be generous to us.
It's just a double layer board.
I think so. Yeah. I've got.
It does make it easier.
Yeah. I mean, I've got 4-layer boards on the mind. Or
Yeah, I
more.
was just thinking of that because those ground planes love to soak up heat.
Yeah. It's always a nightmare to desolder those. But just some things just don't desolder well. Like Data General stuff is notorious for not desoldering well at all. And even I had difficulty with the Emulex card actually. But
Could they be using?
Oh, you can go ahead.
I was just going to say, could they have been using a silver alloy solder?
On the I don't think Emulex would have.
No. The Emulex is probably a ground plane, power plane type issue.
Yeah. The also somebody had done some rework on that chip, which is why I think I struggled so hard with it, because whatever solder they used was just not wanting to let go, and I mean it was rough.
It was interesting that XP32 exec card had some rework on it for one of those static RAMs.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think 2 of the
Inter-
static ramps had been replaced on that thing.
Yeah, and it was a completely different part number, but equivalent. You know, 'cause it was
Yeah,
different
they were like
manufacturing.
some like CY thing or something like that, right?
Yeah, it was Cypress Semiconductor.
Yeah. Man, that thing. I'm so torn. Like, it's the more I read about the XP32, like the cooler it is, because finding like a proper MIMD system that's like, I don't want to say hobbyist level, but that's like an attainable level is super rare. And so like it would be really cool to get that FPS 3000 going, but I just feel like we don't have the necessary parts to get it done, which is just a shame.
I was thinking, if you know anybody in the seismic surveying community, or you know the geological surveying community, or somebody that's adjacent to that, you might be able to find some more information on that, because those were used a lot for, you know, oil field prospecting for signal analysis.
So I kind of, in the video that I'm working on right now, that does kind of get a shout out, because I say, you know, the FPS 100 and the AP 120B were used a lot in the medical field and the geologic field. And I was like, I don't know what you would have been doing in the geologic field with this much processing power. So if you do know, sound off in the comments, right? So I'm hoping that somebody in that industry chimes in, because all of the information that we've heard so far, God, look at that. This thing's just going to come right out, huh? All of the information that we've managed to get so far about the anything FPS has always been focused right around the medical field. So like we haven't talked to anybody from any other field. And so I'm hoping that, you know, maybe some geology guys chime in and are like, yo, I got the whole stack of tapes from FPS in my basement. Let me go grab them, you know?
It would be nice to have something like that come up. Another thing I thought of was sonar and sound analysis.
Okay.
That runs up into classification issues.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I just think,
adjacent to the Navy.
I just don't think that they made very many of these things, and they were in fields where like individuals would not have been able to take them home, right? And hold, you know, like that's pretty much our only hope for like recovering stuff. That's not enough pins, huh?
Well, no. I remember seeing thumper trucks in the late 80s, early 90s that had full racks of like mini computer equipment. And so I wouldn't be surprised that there was a seismographic survey rig, you know, that had this FPS hardware.
Yeah, but I mean, what are the odds of somebody that managed to take that home and hold on to it for all these years, right?
Oh, but they would have been supported by field support engineers. That's the kind of guy who might have taken some of that stuff home or have it.
Okay.
Or the guy that ran a company that did it, God knows how long ago. You know, the market went away. He idled everything, and the truck has been sitting somewhere for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's always hope, but I think that, like, when you get into such highly specialized equipment that was extremely expensive, it becomes very difficult. You know, we can always get lucky, but I mean, it's going to be tough. I feel like if we were going to get lucky, we would have gotten lucky by now.
Well, when the going gets stupid, the stupid are professionals. I remember one of the last things I did before I got sick was when I was still working on Apollo stuff then, and we needed some information that we couldn't get by any legitimate means, and so I got desperate, and I was literally cold calling people that I thought may have worked at IBM Federal Systems Division anywhere within the region of Huntsville, and I actually produced some leads that other people were able to later follow up on and actually get useful information. So sometimes you just got to get ridiculous.
Yeah. And I, you know, uh, I think the XP32 FPS system is at this point primarily a waiting game. We just keep talking about FPS. We keep showing FPS systems, and eventually, you know, word filters its way far enough that somebody goes, "Oh, I've got one of those," and gets in touch, right? I think that's our best shot. So, in that sense, though, like, in order to play that waiting game, we have to have a topic that is interesting enough to continue like making videos about. And I can't just make a video that's like, still waiting on information. Let me know if you got anything, right? So I think that's why we got to do the shift to the FPS 100 and hope that you know, in the middle of that process of bringing the FPS 100 up, somebody says something about the XP32, and then, you know, maybe we find a VAX or something, an 11750 or something that we can plug it into or something. Who knows? I know that the
At least you don't
XP32.
need to remove it.
Huh?
At least you don't need to remove it from the rack because the FPS 100 is already in there. It's not like the AP 120.
I think you're
Yeah,
slightly
that would've-
confused. The FPS 100, an FPS 100 doesn't exist. So all I have is just like some chintzy brackets holding the front panel up so that there's not a giant hole in the rack, and that I hate it every time I look at it. The FPS 3000 is like, the sliders are in the rack, so those are going to have to come out. And then something else is going to have to fill that void. Which means that, you know, ultimately it means that we did actually have space for the Fujitsu Eagle, even though I don't particularly want to use the Fujitsu Eagle. I have a couple of options now, since if we're going to end up with a little more rack space, I do want to put the 2 floppy drives in there. And I kind of want to get another Fujitsu 2312 and run dual Fujitsu 2312 8-inch drives in the machine. I think that would be really cool. You know, so like two Fujitsu 2312 8-inch drives, 2 8-inch floppies, and then maybe some tape drive stuff, and then the FPS 100 system I think would be a really cool setup. But that's all something that we're thinking about in the future. We're not too concerned about that. The real question is what do we do with the FPS 3000, right?
Yeah. Because the reason you want a second drive is that Emulex can do 2.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The Emulex can support 2. And we can set it up with, like essentially having a bunch of RK07s. And the good thing about the way that PDP-11 works is that I can just type, BDM and then a number, and it boots from that particular emulated RK07. So I can have RSX11M on one RK07. I can have Ristus on another RK07. I can have Unix on a third RK07. And these are all like full-fledged, proper working OSs. And so then it like becomes the Swiss Army knife of PDP-11s.
Yeah, I actually had the occasion to use the Unibone for its intended use in a PDP-11 instead of the PDP-10, and my expectations of the software did not mesh with reality. which is about the politest way that I can put that.
Of the Unibone software or of the like PDP-11 software?
The Unibone software.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it's not easy to use, man.
No, it's a lot worse than I expected it to be.
I just saw a post today from Dave Plummer talking about on Unibone, he's trying to make a virtual network adapter, and he was trying to debug it, and his debugging code also tried to do DMA at the same time as DMA was being done, and made it much worse. And it took him forever to figure that out.
He's doing something really weird then. And yeah, supposedly Dave Plummer is taking over that project, but I haven't heard any confirmation from anyone that I actually trust. So I have no idea where that's coming from.
It may be a specific application or specific type of interface. He's trying to make a better optimized interface. I'm not sure what he's doing with it.
Just a great.
What I've heard is probably shouldn't be repeated on Twitch, but you can ask me about it later. It's not good and not for polite company.
It's a great quote just now.
That's the only downside.
From the New York Times: if you're a rich man, you're going to buy a Cray 1 and compute on it. If you're a poor man, you're going to buy an FPS and spend a lot of time programming it.
Well, that's
from.
So I actually talk about that in my in my video this week. The Cray 1.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No. I mean, I haven't like put it up on for early release or anything yet, so there's no way that anybody would know that's what I'm talking about. But the Cray 1 sold for $7.9 million in 1976. The AP120B also released in 1976 and sold for $38,000, right? So we're talking less than 1% the cost of a Cray 1, but you were getting 12 megaflops versus the 160 megaflops. So you were getting like almost 10% of the performance, right? So I can see why floating point systems, did well initially, at least. Like, there's a lot of companies out there that wanted supercomputing performance, but didn't have $7.9 million to dump on a Cray, right?
Or they needed multiples. Like it says in this article, Ford Motor Company was experimenting with using them on engine test stands.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the story about Norm Winningstad is a little bit of a sad one. So Norm Winningstad is the guy that founded Floating Point Systems. He was a aviator in the Navy. I think it was the Navy. And he was a Tektronix guy, worked at Tektronix, left Tektronix, started Floating Point Systems, and then he had like 3 more companies after FPS. So the dude was crushing it. He was really good. And then at 85 years old, he got an undisclosed illness that was causing him a lot of pain. And then he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And I was just like, whoa, what an end to the story, man. Like, it's like the dude was like, this sucks. I've had a hell of a run. Let's just call it here, right? Like, wow. Okay. I didn't put that in the video, but that was something that I came across while reading up on FPS for the video. That was like, dang. But yeah, Norm Winningstad, like if you want to know more about a dude that was like kind of a rock star, that's the dude, man. All right. I don't know if I can put a socket in this one because it might interfere with this guy. All right, well, that's one D8155 out. Let me slip a socket in there just to see. Yeah, FPS was doing all sorts of really cool stuff. And then it was like, once they got into the mid 1980s, like 1985 or so, it's like it all fell apart rapidly.
Waytech had kind of the same thing happen to them.
The one of the things that floating point systems did that I had heard their name a couple of times before, but it never really registered, was they bought Celerity Computing. And I've heard the name Celerity a couple of times, but I don't know if the context in which I heard Celerity is the same Celerity as the Celerity that FPS bought. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Celerity.
Not to jinx things, but we're a half an hour in, and the stream hasn't dropped.
Oh, it'll drop.
No, it took a crap. It took a crap earlier, and then it came back.
It's been hanging a lot for me, like for whatever reason. I don't. It's maybe just Twitch being stupid on my end.
I haven't had a drop. Did it have to get restarted?
No. But it did freeze a couple of times, but no full restart.
Yeah, I haven't heard it like literally like fully kick the bucket yet. Oh, I've got a socket that's the actual right size here. What am I doing? I was like gonna try and make multiple sockets fit. I got one that's just like the correct size. I think that'll clear. I'm gonna tack this one in, and then we're gonna set a chip in it. And we're gonna try and plug the servo motor in and see if it goes. I've been
that is easier than 40-pin desoldering.
40-pin desolder. What are we talking about?
Oh, just doing the testing with before you solder that socket completely in place.
Oh yeah, I'm only concerned about the plug for the servo. Like this chip essentially butts right up against that plug, and I'm afraid that if it sticks up too tall, it's going to prevent the plug from locking in. But I mean, I would rather.
There's a latch on the side.
Yeah, there's a latch on the side. I'd rather have the IC in a socket for sure. I don't like soldering ICs directly, but that is not gonna latch on the servo. What a dumb design. I can probably just slice the. I'll just cut the. Yeah, it'll be all right. I'm just gonna cut the plastic
Yeah, I was thinking that.
latch on one side of the servo. And then it'll be fine. It'll be all right. All right. We're almost ready for testing. I've been reading. I've never read it before, and so this is the first time that I'm reading it, but I've been reading Project Hail Mary. It's like a really good book.
It is.
My brother almost disowned me when he heard that I hadn't read it, and so I bought it in the airport on my way back, and I just started getting into it recently. And I'm only like 200 pages in, so I'm not quite halfway. But so far, it is excellent. I also finished Strange New Worlds Season 3 tonight. So I've been on a bit of a space kick.
Oh, I must have missed it. I had to walk into the other room. You read Project Hail Mary?
I'm reading Project Hail Mary. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Oh, okay. All right. I will be careful not to spoil it then. That's why I asked you. I was going to ask what you thought of a specific thing, and that's why I asked for clarification before I asked the question. Because the question is it's a spoiler.
I'm about halfway into it. So he's met Rocky, and they've developed communication, but they haven't they haven't tried to figure out how to save the stars yet.
Okay, all right.
I feel like that's sitting elevated, and it shouldn't. I feel like this thing should push deeper in. Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, usually when I'm doing those, I'll overfold the pins a hair by pushing them against the table or whatever work surface I'm using.
Yeah, I did that.
Way
it's just it really does not want to sit flush.
Too hard.
I mean, I pushed it in hard enough that I'm pretty sure that the pins are making contact. But it's sitting
I don't like having
very proud.
I don't like having to push very hard because I'm terrified I'm going to roll a pin under.
Yeah. All right, let's try that again. That's a little better. All right, that should be good enough. I am going to turn the soldering irons off. If we need them, we'll just wait for them to warm up again, but I don't really want to burn myself on them on accident, which I'm guaranteed to do.
Every project demands a blood sacrifice.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my projects are so big that a blood sacrifice can be fatal.
Yeah, as the old line goes, suffer for your art.
It isn't a real computer unless it's heavy enough to kill you if it falls on you.
That's right.
Yeah, my general application of that is your computer might be faster, but mine will crush yours if it falls on it. And then still work afterward.
Yeah. I want my computer to be heavy enough to, like, when I drop it, it cracks the concrete, and then the computer still is fine.
Okay, you reminded me of something. Okay, when I got my 1144, it came in the double wide cabinet, which is yours with another cabinet bolted to the side for the expansion box and so on. And my friend and I had turned it onto its side, and we were trying to maneuver it down a hallway, and it slipped and dropped onto all 10 of my friend's toes and broke 4 of them. So yes, the 1144, at least in the double wide cabinet, is heavy enough to break bones. I can confirm that from personal experience.
Yeah, the 1144 is not messing around. But I feel like the bulk of weight in old systems is often in storage.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The 1144
and the weight and the expense of operating them was in the storage.
Yeah, like the 1144 itself, the CPU itself is not bad. I can pick that up. Right. I mean, like if you drop it on your foot, it'll absolutely break bone. But I mean, it's not so heavy that one person can't lift it. But the Oh, what would an 1144 have used? RLs?
You could have used RLs on them, but RLs were kind of small for them. An 1144 was a pretty high-end machine. They expected that you would have had like RKO 6s or 7s at a minimum.
Okay.
They really expected you to have math bus if you had an 1144.
So what would have been a mass bus drive?
With an 1144, it would have been probably the RMO2.
Okay.
And that's in its own separate cabinet.
Yeah, that's the that's one of the ones that's like the top loading dishwasher, right?
Not quite dishwasher. It's the same. The cabinet's the same size as the one the 1144 is in, but it is a top loading drive.
Okay. Is it similar to the one that the VAX 11780 would have used?
Yeah, the VAX 11780 would have been in about the same performance class, and so they would have had the same basic expectations. The original design of the 780 called for about the same peripherals as an 1144.
Okay. The 780 is such a cool machine.
Yeah, it was just such a dog, though. If you had a bare 780 and you hadn't done the 785 field upgrade, you were just wasting electricity. It was that bad. The 785 upgrade, all they did was swap some of the ICs for a higher speed rating of the same IC. I think they went from one version of Schottky to another, something relatively trivial like that, and it was a 50% speed increase. So the baseline 11785 was already 50% faster than your 780. And then you got denser memory that you could have more of on top of that. And that meant you had less bus cycles. So all your I/O happened faster. There was less contention across the SPI. So it was just all around a much faster machine. And it was just a board swap and change. No, it was a board swap plus a new set of floppies for your front end. Oh, and then the nameplate was changed to say 785. That was technically optional. And you moved a jumper on the back plane to say, oh, this is a 785 now. That was about it. The field upgrade took about half a day. And most of that was just checking to make sure that there wasn't anything screwed up before you started.
I should have put this in before I put the motors in. I wonder if I can slip it in from the edge.
The I/O board is actually the last test that it does, and it kind of skips it if it's RS-232 anyway, so it's probably not necessary for the first test.
While not necessary, I'm going for broke here, so we're going all in on it. If I can get it in, Jesus. I think I got it. This is why I wanted to put the I/O board in, because I wanted to know if I had to take the thing apart again.
Hey, I just had a thought. You're talking about being on a space kick earlier. There's something else that you should probably read when you're done with Hail Mary. Go, and these are if you're into Amazon ebooks, they're available as Amazon ebooks. Otherwise, you'll have to hunt for paperbacks. But there are two Naven module or novels, The Integral Trees and The Smoke Ring.
Okay.
You should go find those. If you like Ware's work, you'll like it.
What's Ware's work?
Anthony Ware.
Oh,
However you say his. Isn't that how you say his name? Like the water feature?
I always said it as Weir. As in like we are going somewhere.
Oh, okay. All right.
I could be wrong. That's what my brain has internalized.
Yeah. I always read it like you would read the water feature. Well, I assume you know what the water feature is. It's like a low overhead dam, just meant to make. Yeah, it's Neven. Okay, Weir is correct. All right.
That serial board does not fit correctly. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. I mean, I see what
Is
he's.
that the one text?
Yeah, that's one that Tech Select made.
The quick summary of the plot is that a ship sent out to find planets that can be made habitable finds a human habitable non-planet, and then things happen from there.
A human habitable non-planet.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much, or it can spoil things. But yeah, as I said, if you like the exploration stuff, you'll like it.
All right. Well, I think like this thing just flat does not fit correctly. All right. Let's see if I can get one screw in and it'll just sit cattywampus. Actually, I don't think I can even get my screws in because the holes are not big enough for my screw to go through. Okay. So we're going to pull this out and we're going to put the original Remex board in. And then we'll revisit this thing again in the future. We'll put the Remex board in because it looks healthy. And I don't know what the original Remex output is.
I
What is
think
that?
there's 2 parallel I/O possibilities.
It's got like a huge connector on the back that.
Yeah, I think it's parallel port. I think the ROM can detect serial versus parallel, but I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
I mean, why would he be executing tests for a parallel port?
That's
Like
true.
we found.
The IO tests almost do nothing for serial, but then they do a whole bunch of extra stuff. So I assume it's testing parallel.
All right. This will be a good stress test of the system then.
Didn't you burn the serial ROM? That's why we needed the new AppROM burner.
No, we burned a ROM because we thought the other ROM was blasted.
Which it was.
Yeah.
Right, but that was the serial ROM image, wasn't it?
I have no idea. It was just a ROM image that we found.
The ROM image was a slightly later model than this one, which is in the era when they were mostly doing serial, so we thought it was serial only. But looking at the test cases, it might support parallel too. But if not, then we just have to make the serial work.
Yep.
Get the hacksaw to the PCB and make it fit.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the PCB that's the problem. It's the connector. So I can probably make it fit if I take a grinder to the aluminum on the back. Because the connector is hitting the aluminum opening on the backside.
Get the Dremel with the little cutoff wheels.
Yeah, I just need to go take about a ½ inch out of the metal on the back here. All right, let's I don't know, put some electricity in this thing and see what happens. All right, are we off? I don't know where the power is. There it is. Yeah. So we are off. All right, let me put the camera somewhere where you guys can see the lights. on the front here. Okay. Here goes nothing. Both of the spindles are pointing down, so if it does move a spindle, we'll know. And well, we don't have a check light.
Well, that's not good.
Is it supposed to come on and stay on?
It's supposed to come on briefly, do its checks, and then it goes off if all checks pass.
Yeah, it did come on briefly. I mean, but by briefly, I mean like a quarter of a second or something.
Off and on again, just to see what it does.
Yeah. Okay, here I'll record a video of it and drop it in the Discord. That'll be easier than like looking at what Twitch is showing.
I saw I saw the servos move just a little bit.
I mean, I thought it was more than that.
Yeah, the servos do move. The servos move just slightly. All right, video incoming to the Friday night chat as soon as my dumb cell phone wakes up.
Yeah, the servo did definitely move when you turned it on. Just a little nudge.
Was it while the check light was on or before?
It's very hard to tell.
What the test does is it runs, I think, the left motor for a little bit and then the right motor for a little bit, and it's part of the test.
Yeah, so they both move while the light is red. Then the light goes off.
I think it's working. It's passed for the test.
Oh, hey, all the LEDs on the reader are on.
Is it actually waiting for paper?
Could be.
Is there
Can you put it in manual and advance it?
That's what I'm going to try. I guess that's what we try next. Let me grab some paper tape. I got to get a PDP 1144 out of the way right quick. All right. This one's pretty short. This is my UE1 switch test. Boy, that's not easy to load. There it goes.
Well, they expect that you'll have the spindle holding one end.
Yeah. All right, now spool. That doesn't do anything. Those don't do anything. Yeah. So
the rewind switch should be able to move it back and forth.
yeah, that's not doing nothing. I do have those plugged in.
Now, the rewind should do something. I was going, maybe it's waiting for the computer to be connected to this?
No, it shouldn't. Not when it's in local.
Yeah, I don't know how to put it in local though. Like, I don't know if there's some kind of like jumper that has to be bridged on the IO board that says, hey, you're in local mode now.
I would assume it would go to local when you moved any of the switches.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't know.
Reese?
Yeah, I'm just trying to...
Front panel switch are on one of the chips, right? An LS737?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, that's another thing. Are those little things sticking out? Are those supposed to fold in when you install a?
Oh, these
reel?
guys? Yeah.
I don't think there's a detector for them.
No, they're just like a little mechanical thing.
Okay, so down is the installed position anyway.
Yeah, because it would be locking in your big plastic wheel.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I suppose we can check the continuity of the switch back to the 373 on the motherboard.
Okay.
Yeah, but that 373 might have the same bug as the ADC.
I mean, is it on the
Yep.
bus?
Yeah,
Yep.
on one side it is.
Which 373 is it? U12?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let me see if I got a spare one of those. Just, I mean, we'll troubleshoot it, but if I don't have a spare one of those, we're hurting.
Yeah, actually, I might doubt it, just because I think it, for those switches, it would be hitting the lower part of the bus.
No, they're on DB 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, that would be the bus. That would be the one that was angry.
Yeah, but the bits that we're supposed to read for the switches are on DB 1, 2, and 3.
There's actually different switches. No, the switches that you're seeing on 1, 2, and 3 are actually dip switches on the board.
Oh.
Yeah, it's LDL pin and LDR pin. Let me just paste this to the chat. Hang on.
Oh, cool. They're exactly where we're having our trouble. Great.
Well, I don't have a spare 373. I could have sworn I did. I have a spare 437. I think that's probably where I got confused. I'm assuming that 373s are some kind of bus drivers.
Yeah.
Basically latches.
I mean, it's. I think. I'm not sure it's a latch, more just like a output enable.
Yeah, well,
It's an octal D-type transparent latch.
Yeah, they just rigged it on the enable line to be always on, so it's basically acting as a buffer.
All right, well, I ain't got any of those.
What I was talking about with maybe checking the continuity is just to see if the switches are working at all, see if they're maybe faulty. We know the on-off works, but maybe the others are not working properly.
Yeah, I got a bunch of 245s, and I got a bunch of 473s, but those don't help us. Yeah, I can check the continuity of the switches, but I think we might be ordering more ICs. I should have ordered some when I ordered these off of eBay, but I didn't think about it. Yeah, that switch is working fine.
Okay.
Would be hard to probe after the buffer.
Yeah, because everything else is going on the bus.
You need at least. I mean, you need 2 probes and to see when you have your enable on the output control to see if you have blasted bits.
Yeah, so both the switches are fine at least. Is that 373 necessary for other operation, or is it only necessary for the switches on the front here?
Switches, there's also the dip switches for selecting some modes, but that's not really important. It's like the motor speed and stuff. So they, let's see.
It might be seeing default values.
Yeah, it's mostly just the operating switches and the mode switches.
All right. So is
So the
there a way to
interface-
control this thing without the switches? I'm assuming there is.
I mean, the serial interface should, right? I mean, the interface.
Yeah, via the serial interface, you can send commands to start and stop the motor and record and whatnot.
All right. Let's get the serial interface in then. You know, like if the 373 is blasted, and it sounds like there's a chance that there's a credible chance that it is, then pretty much our only hope of doing anything with this tonight then is via the serial interface, where we, you know, which is what we wanted to use in the first place anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's get the serial interface into it, see what is broken, and then we'll
Needs
plug
a
it into a
front
laptop
panel.
and see if we can send it commands.
Who needs a front panel when you have a command line interface?
Yeah, and that's something that we can always fix later, right?
You don't have a nibbler, do you?
What's a nibbler?
It's used to cut sheet metal. It's like a
Oh.
pair of pliers.
Yeah, I know what a nibbler is. I was not in sheet metal mode in my brain. I was trying to figure out like what kind of electrical device a nibbler was. No, I don't have a nibbler. I know what they are. We used to have a nibbler. I don't know where it went. I say used to. I mean, we had a nibbler when I was like 18 years old. That was 20 years ago, 23 years ago. So could have disappeared several times over.
I was thinking the character in the creature in Futurama, Nibbler.
Nibbler, yeah, there you go.
I was thinking about nibbles, and I was like, okay, so does a nibbler do half a bite?
Yeah, four bits at a time. No, I was just thinking that would be an easier tool to work with to cut that sheet metal.
Oh, yeah. I might be able to just I need to drill if I drill the holes out on the serial card slightly larger, I might be able to force it into place and make it work.
Yeah, just slide it slightly.
Yeah, well, so there's two problems with the serial card right now, and that is that the connector is jammed up against the metal backing plate. And the second problem is that my screws that thread into the bottom do not pass through the serial card because the holes are too small on it. But I can fix the holes being too small really quickly. Come. All right. Yeah, let me go drill those out right quick. I'll be right back. So you guys get to look at this for a second. And then you get to listen to me drill something. Or you get to listen to... Well, this will be a good test if Discord noise cancellation cuts out the sound of the drill, but Twitch doesn't. Yeah. Wait, where the hell's our drill? Oh, there it is. All right, you guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not in the room anymore, and so I'm like, all right, am I still on the right microphone? There we go. We'll punch it out to that drill bit size. Boy, that is a dull drill. Okay. Nothing like the smell of fiberglass. All right. Tag team back again. Check and direct. So let's begin. Party people in the party, put your hands in the air. I think that's the right lyrics. Ooh, yeah, it's gonna have to sit a little cattywampus, but dang, even that still does not. I can get maybe one screw in the back here. Ooh, it's not pretty, but it's in there. I don't know. Oh, I bit some pins. My poor ribbon cable is going to have to make a interesting jog, but I think I can convince it. All right, so the serial card is currently held in with a single screw. It is not graceful, but it is in place. So if the serial card is borked, we would expect it to maybe throw some errors on boot up, potentially.
It doesn't actually test very much if it detects as a serial.
Does it? But I mean, like if the serial's pulling the bus down or something like that, can that affect something else? You know, like the 8155 was.
Possibly. Yeah, well then it basically wouldn't run at all.
Okay. All right, so we'll fire it up and then we will plug a computer into it.
Did you figure out if there was RS-232 or TTL levels on the port?
No clue. I'm pretty sure it's TTL because it's. I think there's no max 232 or anything going on.
We had found a plus minus 12. They are regulating
Do you have a
from
TTL
the plus
interface?
26 and the
I think one at a time. Whether it's got plus or minus 12, who cares? We'll figure it out as we go. I do have an RS-232 to USB as well as an RS-422 to USB, which I think will do TTL levels. Okay. Well, let me get a laptop with Minicom. Do you know what the serial commands are, or does somebody know what the serial commands are?
I have just looked them up, yes. Control codes like Control X and Control W should move the motor.
Okay. Time for laptop numero dos.
It's page 62 in the manual if anyone's, page 61 in the manual if anyone's looking.
All right, let's get you turned on. We'll start with just a regular RS-232 USB thing. I know those work well with my laptop. I use them all the time with other stuff. Do we know if this needs a null modem or not, I wonder?
no idea.
I guess we'll
I'd be
find
a
out.
little bit surprised if it were wired as a DTE, but I guess you never know.
Yeah. Well, we'll just go straight through for now. If it needs a null modem, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Do you know if your friend that gave this to you used the original serial port schematic, or he came up with a different thing? Because in the original there were switches for switching between DTE and DCE mode.
Oh, I have. Oh, he does have dip switches on here. Let's see here. Default is 9600 8N2. He silk screened.
So the dip switches are for the baud rate stuff, but there was a separate switch in the original schematic.
Yeah, let's set it for
TX
8N1. I don't like 8N2, so I'm going to set it for 8N1. And I don't know what protocol level 1, level 2 means, but he's got a toggle switch on there. He's also got some jumpers, and I don't know what they are, but they're underneath the motor, so I can't see them at the moment. He has, I guess they're probably baud rate jumpers would be my guess. Let's see, we've got RTS. Oh yeah, he's got a jumper for DCE and DTE. So currently it's set to DCE. Does that mean I need a null modem or don't need a null modem to go to my computer?
I think that means that you don't need it.
Okay.
Because a null modem would be to connect two DTEs together.
DCE is data comms equipment. Think a modem. DTE is a terminal.
Okay. So let's see here. We're at 9600 8N1. That's correct. So yeah, let's flip the power switch on here. I got a question mark, but that's probably just because I was booting up. So what should I do?
Try Control X.
Okay.
That's supposed to wind one of the motors.
I need a caps lock or something.
Control W.
Nope, not getting anything out of those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay, Control Q should be read to start.
Nope. I don't know if I've got caps lock on or not, because a lowercase w and an uppercase W are probably different.
Or it's Control W, so it shouldn't matter up or lower.
Oh, if you do a control, it doesn't matter if it's upper or lowercase?
Nah.
Okay. Yeah, Control W, Control
Maybe
X,
flip the DCE switch and try the other way.
Yeah, we can try it. So I've got, oh, we got a bunch of flow control stuff going on for DC and DT as well. So he's got, it's not one switch, he's got 4 jumpers set up here.
Flow control?
Yeah, RTS and CTS.
The original was CTS and DSR. Should be outputs. I would turn off CTS flow control and whatever in Minicom for the time being.
Well, yeah, I don't know how to turn it on or off on this thing, so I don't know if it's expecting it or not. All right, what was it? Control X, Control Q, Control W. That's not doing anything. So if I do Control A, Z, O for configure minicom, is that going to be under serial port setup?
Should be. think
Yeah,
so.
I've got hardware flow control and software flow control turned off.
Okay. Should be fine then.
Yeah. Because that means that Minicom doesn't care. It just pukes out a control X or a control W or a control Q no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those don't do anything.
Well, we know the motors do basically work because they move a bit during the startup checks.
Yeah. All right, I think these are supposed to be back the other way around. Towards DTE would be my guess, is what he intended. My guess is that he put these in there so he doesn't have to use a null modem cable. So the next question is this not getting RS-232 levels? Is it TTL level? And is my RS-232 to USB thing not happy with TTL level?
We should be able to just measure the voltage on the lines. Like when it's on, it should be like raising RX. If it only goes to 5 volts instead of negative 12 or whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to get my little breakout thing out.
RX and TX.
But I am going to circle these things back to the way they were originally. These little jumpers. I wish you'd have done these with dip switches instead of jumpers. All right, let's learn stuff. Let's get this guy plus these two. All right, and then we're going to go. You gonna fight me? No, we're good. Okay. All right. And then this guy comes up to here. I need a gender changer. We're building the chain here. All right, there we go. So if I unplug that, turn this on, we do get some voltage level lights there. We have one red and two greens. So I should be able to check the voltages on those particular ones, which is going to be DSR, RTS, and then RX is being pulled low, it looks like, which is kind of what we would expect, right? So those are negative 10 volts on RTS and DSR. And RX is plus 10 volts.
That seems like normal RS-232.
Yeah, so this should definitely be working. And then this creates a TX that's going into it. It looks like it's also currently sitting at -6. Why is TX sitting at -6? Oh, that one's at -9. Oh, because I had my probes backwards before, probably. Yeah. So DSR and DSR and RTS are plus 10, and then TX and RX are now both currently at -6, or -6 coming out of this guy, -9 coming out of that guy. But they're not crashing into each other, so that is correct. And I can see that I am sending into it, but again, nothing happens. Oh, that's interesting. All of my LEDs on the front here are now off. They were on before.
Just try Control Q should start a read. Does that turn them on?
Nope.
Hmm.
There's some kind of like global enable that we got to hit or something.
That's what I'm looking in the manual to see if there's some command to get it all ready, but I can't find it yet.
Yeah, Philip, toggling the switches causes the serial port to make characters from here to there, but we're not getting anything back. Except for on power up, I get a random character out of it on power up, which tells me that the UART is getting powered up at least. But
Are we
ain't
sure the
nothing
baud
happening.
rate is right?
Yeah, well, it says that it's set to 9600. Well, I think it's set to 9600. It says that it should be set to 9600. Let me double check, I guess, which is going to require taking stuff somewhat apart. But that is a good thing to check. So we'll unplug you.
Because you'll also get something like that if the PC side is seeing just an endless bunch of frame errors because the baud rate or stop bits are set wrong.
You may want to try turning RTS hardware flow control on in Minicom. Seeing mention of that in here.
Would it matter? Like because the Minicom is just going to puke a character at it no matter what, right? Like we can see Minicom puking characters at it, so.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is that if RTS is not on, it'll suspend operations.
Well, now we got a much bigger problem. The like we got like this project is now dead problem. The massive ribbon cable. The reason that none of my lights were on is because the massive ribbon cable split. Yeah, it tore.
Oh,
tore earlier or just now?
It tore earlier. That's why none of the LEDs were on. But I just noticed it now.
Shit.
Dang it.
Yeah, that's a large problem.
Well, we were talking about making.
That sucks.
That's not.
We now have
man.
We now have the same problem we have with the Lytton.
Yeah, me and these kind of flexy cables, man. Yeah, that's.
It should be banned by the Geneva Conventions.
Yeah, that's real not good. I don't know how to fix that. Short of replacing it. I mean, I guess I could. I think
the photo transistors are even embedded in that flex cable as part of the circuit.
Yep.
Oh, there's transistors in the flex cable?
Well, on top, but yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the LEDs and the photo transistors are all part of that cable assembly.
Maybe not that one specifically, but is there a second flex?
Yeah, there's two flexes.
Because the front panel's on J6. Oh, but J6 has LED anodes.
Yeah. Well, Damn it. Well, I think that one stops us in our tracks tonight. Yeah, I don't know how to fix that. We could maybe scrape back to expose the copper and then solder leads that make the connection and then cover the whole thing in epoxy, potentially.
Yeah, but that would probably be the only way to fix it, short of like actually finding another one.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. That hurts.
Do you want to keep trying to probe serial to see if we get the motors to run, or just call it
No,
here?
at this point, it's pointless.
Yeah, that cable was all of the LEDs and whatnot. So I assume the self test is going to fail very early because none of those will check out.
I don't think it actually looks at those during the self test.
Yeah, the self-test was passing. The LEDs were just not turning on because when I was putting the serial board in the first time, I think I probably ripped it at that point.
Yeah, you know, the LEDs were on at the very beginning.
Yeah. Before we swapped over to the serial board.
Right, okay.
It's totally my fault. I tried to get the serial board in without pulling the whole front face off completely. So I was just like trying to twist the front face out just enough to slip the serial board in, and that was enough to put pressure on that flex cable and break it. I didn't even think about it. I'm not used to like those type of flat flex cables. I'm mostly used to like real deal ribbon cables. Yeah, I don't even know how we'd go about fixing that. Certainly nothing that we can do tonight, that's for sure. This whole unit is going to have to come completely apart, and maybe we can run individual wires from within the unit down to here, like solid core wires or something. Or we strip back just enough of the plastic, the mylar on the cable here. And then do solder bridges and cover the whole thing in epoxy and put like a thick backing plate or something on it so that it doesn't break at that point again.
Timber on the Discord is suggesting maybe using a piece of card to glue to hold it in place. To glue it to a piece of cardboard or something.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of options. I think we have to get the ribbon cable completely out. Like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to repair it while it's still attached to stuff in here. So I've got to get the ribbon cable completely out, flat on something, glue it down, strip it back, make our solder connections to repair it, and then cover it in something so that it doesn't break again. But that means I got to take this whole, that means this entire piece right here has to come completely apart. And I have to get into the inside of this stuff, and that's now not very good. Not good at all.
I don't think that front part was ever meant to be serviced in any shape or form.
Yeah, I concur.
I love how you can tell that schematic of that cable was hand drawn because the LEDs get progressively smaller as it goes towards the bottom as they run out of space.
Yeah. Dang. Well, that sucks.
And 10 LEDs in series, you lose one LED, all of them are out.
Yep.
But I guess you would want that because if you got one out, then you're missing data.
Yeah, and then you're missing all data, not just one bit. I mean, it makes it easier. Boy, that hurts. That one hurts.
It is what it is.
Yep. And there's nothing I can do
I
about it
like
now.
the reference custom flex circuit.
Yeah,
like,
this thing
okay.
is cursed, man. Like, Kevin accidentally fried 4 chips, right? He fried the ROM, the CPU, the 8155, and the ADC. Now the the ribbon cable is broken. Like, it just does not want to come back to life.
Oh, and the 373s for the switches on the front.
Oh,
panel,
yeah,
too.
the 373. So at least 5 ICs on the thing have been blasted, and there's not that many ICs in it in the first place.
How did that happen in the first place?
He was checking something. I don't know. He said somehow he put 12 volts into... He had 12 volts, and he tapped 12 volts to the bus or something like that. I wasn't super clear on how it happened, but essentially the result is that those 2 address lines that we were unsure of, which was like, I don't know, 6 and 7 or something, I'm pretty sure that 12 volts got crammed down address line 6 and address line 7, or data line 6 or data line 7. So everything that touched those died.
Just thinking about it, if he says if it was 12 volts, he might have been probing his serial card. So
Yeah.
that's another IC he might have fried.
Yeah. This thing is cursed. All right, well, I'm gonna put it up before I make it any worse. I don't think I can make it any worse. It's been dead for who knows how many years, so it'll continue to be dead.
At least we know for pretty much sure that SN 74C04 was being used correctly as a analog inverter.
Yeah, we also know that it was bad, so replacing it caused it to fix the tests, so that's good.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean, the analog inverter was fine. It's like, this is the first time I've ever seen a digital digital NOT gate being used as an analog part. They had a lot of fun in that design.
all right, let's pivot.
I just did a quick search, and there's a number of videos that show different methods for flex print repair. So
yeah, it's possible.
Conductive ink.
The problem is not repairing the flex cable. I'm fairly certain that if we can get that flex cable out, we can repair it. But the problem is getting it out, getting the flex cable free from the reader head up there. That's the part that I don't feel comfortable about.
yeah,
But isn't the rip closer to the connector?
Yeah, but I mean, in order to repair it, I need full proper access to the cable and a place to lay it flat. Like, if I'm going to try and repair it while it's in there, I'm just going to make a mess of stuff and end up not repairing it.
The front panel itself is a flat piece, so just have to hang it on the side of something.
I would really appreciate it if you didn't tell me how easy you think it's going to be when you're not the one that has to do it.
Yeah.
and from the screenshots of it, it's not where it would lay flat on the faceplate, unfortunately, because the whole read head assembly it's not flat, and the cables are curved in 2 different directions because they split up.
We're gonna move the laptop off of the table
Yeah, it looks
here.
a little tricky.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be like nothing is impossible. It's just a question of, like, is this what we want to spend our time on? You know.
Oh no, I hadn't seen the photo good enough. Yeah, no, that's gonna be a hell.
Yeah. If it was just one thing that was torn, I would say let's tackle it. No, the whole thing is torn, man. Like it's very dead.
I wouldn't even try to repair it because it's going to rip someplace else.
Yeah, I mean at this point,
They're
I'm
up with
kinda
another way
tempted.
eventually.
Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to just shop eBay for a new one, a new paper tape
Probably
reader.
the easiest thing to. That's probably the easiest thing to do at this point.
Yeah,
saw-
this thing is
saw,
cursed, man.
an
It
alert that
it clearly does not want to be messed with. So, all right, I'm about to bring something really heavy in here.
with that much of a tear, I'd almost try to split every single wire into its own wire.
Hey, kitty.
That would take forever.
Hi, kitty,
I mean-
kitty.
I think we got a volunteer. You should just send it to him.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
You can be the next person that the curse attacks.
Yeah.
Ugh. All right, it has been at least a year since I last turned this thing on. Oh, good Lord. All right, let's have some real fun tonight, huh?
Let's hope it's not another victim.
Oh, I imagine that it's unhappy. It's already, I can tell already that we've got dirt dauber problems with it. So we're going to need to do some cleaning on it. Vacuum cleaner may be a little loud, by the way. All right. First step.
Once the noise canceling kicks in, yeah.
What's the what?
Once the noise canceling kicked in, it took care of it pretty quick.
Oh yeah, I don't know, the noise canceling on Discord at least. The poor Twitch guys.
Oh, it worked on Twitch, it seems.
Oh, okay. All right. First step with this thing is to get this big honking case off the back. And we'll see what kind of damage the dirt daubers have done inside. And then we'll try to clean the case up, clean the inside up. And if it all goes really smoothly, I've got a high gain amplifier module that needs a whole lot of cleaning and work too. So we might get to that as well. But given my luck tonight, I'm doubting that it's going to go smoothly. All right, this is going to be noisy. Yep.
That does not look like an easy move.
It's heavy. It weighs about 50 pounds or 60 pounds maybe. There we go. Yahtzee.
Yahtzee.
All right, so the question
can
is, where are the dirt daubers?
Oh,
Wait, first question.
Yeah,
Does
you
it have
got-
any ribbon cables?
Yeah, no, it doesn't have any ribbon cables. Actually,
Okay.
I don't
every
see any
time I
dirt
see you
daubers.
in the shop, like when you're at your mill and stuff, there's always a freaking wasp flying around.
Yeah, no, they're everywhere. It is rough. And I can see that they were trying to make nests in here, so I'm like moderately confident that there's a dirt dauber nest in here somewhere. So let's get the doors open.
Yeah, depending on how old their dauber nest is, it could be conductive.
Yeah, it's never good. It's a lot of moisture.
It's especially not good for me because we're pretty sure I'm allergic to them.
Oof.
I've never been stung, so I have no idea if I'm allergic to bees or wasps.
They've gotten me
Yeah.
through my shirt before, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I have a phobia of things that puncture, which usually
Same.
means like needles and so on. But my brain, the lizard part of my brain, interprets bees and wasps as flying hypodermic, and so I will uncontrollably flee them, to the point that one time in the fleeing one while cleaning the gutters on the roof, I ran off a 1.5-story roof, fell to the ground, and continued running all the way to the neighbor's property line, at which point the adrenaline wore off and I was unable to walk back.
Yep. I'm the same way.
All right.
Yeah, I had wrecked my ankles. It was not good.
Yeah, I have severe asthma, and when a bee or a wasp starts to chase me, that apparently goes away.
I don't know if
Fun.
you guys can see it in there,
Yeah.
but there is one right up in the middle there.
yes.
Let me get a light on it.
Yeah, I see it.
You see it way back in the deep
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
What a pain in the butt.
Looks like a dual triote in front of it too.
Nope, that's a triode pentode.
Ah, okay. At least I got part of it right. I can tell.
Yeah,
from
you were
the
half
tube
right. You were
structure.
50% there.
I could see the tube structure, and I'm pretty good at identifying tubes from that.
This is the 5,000 volt section as well. So
They picked the perfect spot to make.
yeah,
their
extra. They picked the
nest.
extra spicy section to work on.
It's the oscilloscope and the bug zapper.
Yeah.
Now we find out if it's a dead nest or not.
Dude, they built it right around the fuse too.
So what's funny about scope HV is that it can act like that because it doesn't collapse very well because it's not a flyback.
Pun
No,
intended.
this is a flyback, I think.
It is a flyback. Really? No, I would be shocked. Most of these are not flybacks. They're
I forgot how they do that.
HV generators. That's why it's more dangerous to work in a scope than TV.
Well, now you got me curious. Let me see if I can find my HP documentation. That's going to be.
I just, when you said I would be shocked, it was like,
Oh, there it is. Yep. That's Hawk, Floppy, Finch. That's not the right one.
Yeah,
Oh,
either
that's
way
all
you'd be shocked.
Centurion
Yeah.
stuff. I
I
think.
think because
Yeah, it's all Centurion.
every television from 1935 till about 1948 or 44, something around there, was stuff that could kill you. And then when they went to flyback, it could collapse and it wouldn't kill you; it'd just burn you.
Well, I don't
But
know
I
where
don't think-
where my scope stuff
I
is.
think oscilloscopes did that.
Where my schematics are. I had them all printed out in a nice little notebook, and I hadn't worked on any of my HP gear for so long. I don't know where I put that notebook.
What's it's a 150 you said?
Yeah, 150A. They were just like printouts that I had. It's all available online. I've got them all saved on my hard drive, so that's probably why I didn't care about the notebook that much.
God.
All right.
HP makes a toner cartridge that's the 150A.
Oh yeah, you got to go to like the HP Archive Museum or something like that. I forgot what the name of it is, but it's something along those lines.
Yeah, I found it. I'll shove it in the chat. Let's look at the HV section manual. Time base. High voltage supply. Ah,
Check inside of that box too. It's a weird. They've got like 2 vacuum tube diodes that they're using to generate the high voltage. Right. It's a weird design.
yeah. That is a very no. I'm looking straight at it now. They're using a 6AU5 oscillator, which is it's typical for a television. But what is this? This is a weird flyback setup
Right.
because there's no.
I feel like it is a flyback, right? It's been a while since I've looked at it, but I remember thinking that it's similar to a flyback setup.
Oh wow, they're really abusing the 6AU5. They're putting 415 volts B plus on the plate, and having it self oscillate at 60 kilocycles.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that's what it looks like in person. I had to replace all the high voltage caps in there. They'd all let loose.
Yeah, that's typical. But what's interesting is that they don't. Yeah, there's the what is the 3A? Oh, they're using 3A2s, not 1B3s. I'd expect a 1B3, not a 3A2. How interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're okay for an initial power test. Huh?
Yeah. What's in the 2 cans below that?
Those are transformers.
They're not oil soaked, are they?
Oh, probably.
They're probably fine.
Oh, no.
Transformers and oil are fine.
Yeah, I don't think it's PCB oil. But yeah,
By the way, I've been
they
meaning
weigh
to
a
ask,
metric ton.
did the PCB oil become sticky?
I don't know. I cleaned it all up before I had a chance to figure it out. Or I haven't actually touched the drum yet. So the PCB oil that's still stuck on the drum might be sticky. I should probably do something about that.
I'm curious because I have an answering machine, that answering machine I showed you.
Yeah.
And when I was working in it for the last time, putting it back together after the final adjustments, I noticed that there was a sticky substance that had dripped out when it was sat on side for years.
Okay.
And it's on the plate where all the capacitors are.
All right. All right.
And I said, I am not messing with that because they work fine. There's no hum. It gets to
Flip
live.
this guy around. I think I have the appropriate HP probe cord as well. Yep. This is like such a cool probe. It's the camera's not going to do it justice here. It's pointy, but then the point spreads. This is like the coolest oscilloscope probe I've ever seen.
That's nice.
Yeah. Has a HP going above and beyond here. All right. I feel like there should be there's a generator on here for calibration somewhere, but I don't remember. That might be a different scope. Oh, no, it's right here. The one that the
Yeah, I was going to say.
the dirt daubers have built a nest inside of.
Of course. They pick the thing you need.
Well, they pick the tightest, smallest hole often, and they'll just pack it full of dirt. I need there we go. Yeah, that should be, I think, whatever. Yeah, that's the calibrator here. So I can set it to a certain level of volts. And I think it's a pretty slow frequency. I think it's like 60 hertz maybe. Because of the way that the doors open on this thing, I call it my mini Bendix.
Yeah, it kind of did open like the Bendix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, I think we're good. I think both doors are closed. I am just gonna clear this guy out a little bit. And we are gonna just hook onto that. All right,
Makes me want to work on my.
let's see what goes up in smoke. All right, it's been over a year since this thing has been on.
Did you grab your real camera?
No, no.
Oh.
No, I did 4 videos on this thing, 5 videos or something on this thing. We're good.
Hey, you never know. Watching the magic smoke come out and having to do another video on it. That is a really nice, bright graticule.
Oh, I've got it. It's got a light on it, so it's got a scale light on it.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
No, I know, but it's a really.
Oh. It shut off. Something snapped. Something went pop. Did we pop a fuse? I heard it click.
It had.
Like,
It had high voltage.
yeah, it did there for a second. So did we lose a fuse? We did indeed lose a fuse. Guess which fuse we lost?
The sweep amp wasn't on.
We lost the fuse that the Dirt Daubers built a nest around.
Yeah, they might have. Yeah.
That one popped. So my guess is that I don't know. How would the Dirt Daubers hurt a fuse?
Moisture. Unless you haven't flipped this over, have you?
Oh, I didn't look on the bottom. That's a good idea. I mean, there's not much on the bottom other than this guy.
The time base.
Yeah, the there we go. The module slides out. There's no Dirt Daubers on it, and the only other thing on the bottom is fan.
And we heard the fan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally clean down here. So nothing was hurting anything down here.
Heard a snap. So that was a very abrupt fuse pop.
Well, it was a slow blow fuse that I think is a slow blow. I don't know. It's one of the ones that has a bunch of windings in it.
And it's a slow blow. Those are the nice slow blows too.
So it's
Hard
a
to get now.
5 amp 250 volt. Doesn't say slow blow on it though. It just says MDL 5A.
Medium delay. That's a slow blow.
Oh, is that what MDL stands for?
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that. All right, so it's a 5 amp fuse. We know that much now. All right. I wonder if.
You sure that does? Let me look at little fuse. Let me.
As long as it's not one of the ones with indicator that goes bang.
Oh. Should I break out the fuse guide?
Yeah. Well, I'm curious why it popped the fuse. Probably
I've
shouldn't grab
seen
it now.
fuses just die before.
Yeah, and I mean that could very well be it. It's an old fuse.
Which my old teacher says fuses never can go bad. Well,
Fuses go bad all the time, man.
yep. Now
That
we need the
wonderful sound
audio
is-
visual alert fuse.
You mean the 22 long rifle?
Mm-hmm. Preferably with the phosphorus tip so you can see where it went.
I know in the Navy they have the fuse caps have lights in them so that you can actually, when the fuse blows, the thing lights up.
Yeah, the 28-volt ones. Those are really nice.
I've
All
seen
right, well-
automotive fuses that do that as well.
See if we can
Yeah.
find some
By the
more
way, did you
fuses.
know that on an automotive blade fuse, on any of them, they specifically have cutouts in the plastic so you can put your meter across them and watch voltage drop. That's why they
There
have
we
two
go.
little shiny
Slow
posts.
blow. Put a new
I
slow
thought that's where
blow
you
in and
stack
see
the
what
next
happens.
the next connection.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I don't know if these are long enough.
Well, they should be normal AGM.
These are 6x30. Yeah, that's long enough. That should be fine. So, there we go. That's a 5 amp, 6x30 5 amp.
I got you 6x9.
It's a little skinnier. That's interesting.
Is it a true slow blow?
Yeah. Slow blow glass fuses kit. So as much as you can trust Amazon to be slow blow.
Yeah, well. I should make you a dim bulb tester. Send it to you.
I can't tell you how many times I've gotten comments about people saying, you need a dim bulb tester.
It's nice to have, but the nicer thing to have is just a regular kilowatt meter. The one that plugs
That's,
in the
yeah,
wall.
that's what I really want. The kilowatt.
Harbor Freight.
Yep. All right.
Philip, I don't think it was high tension the ground because we actually saw a trace.
Well, we saw the trace after the fuse popped. So you saw the trace as the high voltage was coming down. And the whole thing was shutting off. I don't know what fuse that is. If you've got it open, if you've got the manual open, I can tell you what fuse number it was, maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Can't tell you what fuse number it
back
is.
to the manual.
It doesn't have a number on it.
Oh, well, let me think about it because I might have a guide.
Yeah, it's the one that's right up on top. All right, let's try this. Let's see if we blow the next fuse. Oh, that's upside down. There we go. I think that's fine. All right. Oh man, those dirt daubers, they built nests in my external horizontal input things too.
Should get a bug zapper and hang it in your shop.
Wouldn't make a
they'll go for 'em.
bit of difference. There are millions of them.
You'll get a big pile. I did that in my
Yeah,
garage. and
All
they-
it'll
they
do
go-
is it'll just create a little pile that I have to clean up is all.
put it over the garbage can.
Helps if I turn the if I plug it in, huh?
Oh, you know.
All right. Let's try again.
Actually, it doesn't list the fuses.
Ooh. Still no juice, huh? I wonder if that fuse on the back is making good connection, or if we popped more than one fuse.
Is the power strip still on?
Yeah. I bet you that fuse is not making solid connection. Oh no, it just self-immolated immediately. I thought you were supposed to be slow blow at 5 amp.
Do you have any incandescent bulbs?
Well, something shorted. Question is what?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking about if you have any like 60-watt incandescent bulbs, because then you could put it in series with the fuse, and then start looking.
No, we got something shorted. So we just need to figure out what is on this fuse path that could short.
That's what I mean. When you put a bulb like that, you can turn it on, and it will just light up, but it will pass enough current you can figure out what's shorted by feeling for heat.
Oh, dude, the whole thing is gonna get, if power comes on, the whole thing emanates heat at a ridiculous level. No, I just need to dig through the manual right quick.
That's what I'm looking. I'm trying to find fuse placements, but I don't. It just talks about the tubes.
Damn, I did not expect this thing to be the one that gives me grief tonight.
You did jinx it by saying your luck.
I know my luck is not doing great today, apparently.
Oh, there's a thermal overload switch.
Yep, I have bypassed that.
Oh,
I bypassed that forever ago.
I see.
Yeah, it's right up here. Yeah, I just hot wired across that. I thought slow blows were supposed to blow slow. That one blew immediately. I feel like there's more than one fuse on this thing, but I swear that's the only fuse that I'm seeing.
There are more. They're on the. I saw it when we were. They're on the back on the bottom. Kind of down in a corner.
No, those are jacks to plug stuff in.
Oh, okay. At least I saw something that looked like them. I guess not.
Yeah,
And
there
the
might
problem
be
is this thing
there might
just
be a
won't-
fuse on the actual. Oh, there's a whole row of fuses.
Really?
Yeah, I think those are fuses. Or CR. CR is often diodes. Those are weird though. Oh yeah, those are diodes. Those are weird like diodes that you pop into fuse holders.
Interesting.
That's fun.
Why? Okay. Low voltage power supply, VTVM. Let's test
Yeah,
an
whatever
adjustment.
this fuse is, that's the one that we're having trouble with. All right, you said you
Yeah,
tossed a link in the Discord.
I did.
Okay, that is where I'll look for it at.
They don't specifically call out any of the fuses and diagrams. It's just OCR'd. Fuse. It is, thank God. Ah, for 230 volt operation, I have to put a 3 amp fuse.
I'm so
It's
dumb.
supposed to have a 6 1/4 fuse.
There it is.
It's not supposed to have a
HP
5. It's supposed to have a 6 1/4 amp fuse. That's interesting.
Wait, which page are you on?
That was on
Let me download
page
this.
2. Okay. The fan will not operate. Check the power line fuse mounted near the rear of the base of the CRT axis in the cabinet, blah, blah, blah.
You're gonna have to give me a
The
better
cause
page
of a
number than
blown
2.
fuse usually can be found in the low voltage regulator input circuit. Check the silicon rectifiers, filter capacitor, etc. All right, it gives you at least that.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's just the primary fuse that we exploderized. The fuse.
It's the only one that it mentions. It could be that the capacitors wanted to be reformed a little bit,
They're new capacitors.
and even new capacitors like to be reformed after sitting.
I mean, I would
Not that much.
I would
but
not expect 3-year-old capacitors to need to be reformed. I replaced the entire filter capacitor block on this. They're brand
there
new,
are
high quality from Mauser.
fuses. There are fuses underneath the plug-in amplifier.
All right, here's the main.
I thought those were fuses. Yeah, if you take the amplifier drawer out, they're in the rear of the opening. I thought those were fuses. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fuse 1, cartridge 6.25 amp slow blow.
Yeah, I see which one you're talking about. It's in series with a thermal cutout. That's the main AC fuse.
Yeah, it says we could have just lost a rectifier and it just overamped.
Yeah, so if we're
By
blowing
sending
that,
ripple.
then it's hard to guess what's wrong on the other side.
Well, it immediately suggested in the troubleshooting procedure that silicon rectifiers are the very first thing to check.
So that would be CR21, CR22, CR24, CR23 maybe?
Which are in those fuse holders, I think, that you were mentioning.
Or 25, 26, 27, 28, or 29, 30, 31, 32. Or 33, 34, 35, 36. Okay.
What page are you on?
65. That's the power supply schematic.
Let's stare at this for a second. Okay, where's my incoming power? We go.
All right.
Ooh, I really hope. Overload relay on the negative 70 volt, negative 78 volt.
An overload relay would not cause, that would cause it to shut down, but it wouldn't cause the fuse to blow.
That's correct, which means it's on the primary side.
Yeah, so the reason our fuse exploding is unrelated to any of the other safety protections. Boy, those are a right proper bitch to get to. I mean, I can check 36 and 21 because they're right on top, but I may have to pop all these things out to check them individually if we've got a bad rectifier.
You know, I really hope we didn't lose a transformer.
Oh, no. No. Transformer wouldn't cause the type of failure that I think we're saying.
Transformer would have
very
been
well
a
could.
lot more pyrotechnic.
That's not necessarily. Not if a dirt diver built something inside.
No, transformers are all sealed, man.
True.
And I can see where they come through. There's nothing built on them.
All right. Yeah, because on TVs they have a small hole that bugs can get in.
All right. I'm not going to be able to check those diodes in circuit.
Yeah,
That's
see,
a
if I was
right proper pain in the butt.
this was in my shop, I got a 750 watt projector light bulb I could try powering this through.
Oh. Well, we know that there's a fault, so powering it up isn't gonna tell us much. I don't think.
No, but you could start, like I have a FLIR. I could start looking around at the main power chassis and seeing this, besides the tubes. Actually, that's a good point. We could start pulling the regulator tubes out.
I can probably get.
Actually, there's the So if you take the bottom chassis, that plug-in module, there's fuses in there that apparently are low voltage fuses.
I mean, I think a blown fuse in another place is not going to cause the main fuse to blow.
No, but if you take those out, you can isolate the rest of the machine.
There's no fuses in that module, by the way. Oh, there is. Yeah.
No, you pull the
There's two in
module
there.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can just pull the whole module out, but we were mostly powering up and then something let loose, right? So the question is what? I'm going to pop one of these fuses out and see if I can test it outside of the...
Yeah, it's they're 8th amp fuses on the 150.
Oh, not a fuse. I'm going to
and
pop one of the diodes out, I
260.
mean.
Yeah.
See if I can test this
The
diode.
260 and the 130, and then the 400 has no fuse.
Nothing in that direction.
Oh, that's fun.
0.5
They're
in that
floating
direction.
They're floating the heaters.
All right.
On the
Well, I can
on
check all
negative
the
rail.
main. I can check all the main rectifier diodes. It'll be slow going, but I can check them all. It's not really a great way to get you guys a camera angle here, but
Those are weird. Oh, they have those old kinds.
yeah, they're kind of wild looking.
I think. Oh God, was it Packard Bell? I think Packard Bell on their early hybrid TVs had them.
Yep, so far 36 and 35 are fine.
You can just, as Timber says, you can just lift up one side of the diode.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. The problem is not that. The problem is getting my probes in there correctly, but we'll give it a shot.
True. Yeah.
And it gets more and more difficult the deeper I get. I'm only 3 deep and I can't get my probes in there correctly. Yeah, that one's fine. 34 is fine. Pop
You
back
start
in.
marking
There
up
you
this
go.
PDF. So what have you tested?
34, 35, 36.
Okay. So you're on 33 now?
Yep. .33 is also fine.
Okay.
Let me get K2 and K1 out of the way here.
What is RT? What are those?
All right, 36, 35, 34, 33. These are wild fuses. If I got to replace one of these, I don't know what I'm going to do. But
They're just signal diodes. You can use a 4001.
yeah, but I don't know how to get a 4001 to fit in there correctly without bodging it ugly
As
like.
barbaric as it is, you just
Yeah, so
what
that
you
would
do is you
be
take a glass
33,
fuse and you blow it,
30.
and then you solder it to the ends.
So yeah, that was 32. It's good.
Okay. Well, these do have thermistor. Oh, never mind. Those are only on the 230 volts. Never mind. Let me mark that now.
31 is good.
31. 31 and 36, you said?
No, just 31 to 36. All of those are good
All right.
numerically.
And 32, you said.
Yeah. 30 is also good.
Right, mark that off.
That's annoying.
I wonder if we were fighting. No, that wouldn't. Oh no, it would though. If we had a dead short on after the time delay relay, it could have welded that relay shut.
$29 is fine.
Okay.
If I can get it back in. There it goes.
No, Timber, this thing was working.
Yep, ran when parked. Oh, that one is not fine.
27.
28.
Yeah, that would make that, you know what? That would make sense. We were waiting for the time delay relay, and then the time delay relay fired and instantly blew the fuse.
All right.
And now, I bet you anything that time delay relay
27 is also
welded
bad.
shut.
Because 27 just came apart.
Oh, boy. That's probably the snap you heard.
Oh no, the snap I heard was the relay kicking off, not something breaking. The snap I heard was like a shutdown, power down, pop, like click of the relay.
And how long are those diodes, by the way?
I don't know, about an inch. They look like fuses.
Okay. Because if you have a fuse that is that long, what you could do is you can take whatever value you don't care about, like 250 milliamp, blow it on like a battery, and then solder a diode to it and then shove it on.
That's actually not a bad idea. All right,
I've done it. That's why.
27, 28 and 27 are definitely bad.
Okay. Mark that off.
Continue checking the rest. Jesus Christ, 26 is also bad.
So that's okay. So that's the 415, which goes to the HV circuit, which where the freaking daubers were.
Oof, that one came apart. So 25 is also
so
bad.
All the regulators for the 415, the negative 415 circuit.
Yeah, I don't know if that one was always bad, and me just trying to get it loose from its cage broke it, but whatever, it's broken now.
Considering that when the relay fired, we probably shoved about 40 amps through those diodes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's going to be fun trying to fix that. I mean, I could just solder real diodes in.
You could solder them on the back if you can get to them.
Oh, that's super annoying. I mean, the diode is probably fine, but the holder for the diode broke off.
Oh. Is that CR23 you're stabbing at now?
24.
Hmm.
The rivet
Great.
broke.
Oh,
Yeah, the rivet that goes through and holds this to the wire.
great.
Yeah, that's hyper annoying. The diode is totally fine though. Yeah. It's crazy. I checked all of them on one side, flawless, no problems. 5 bad ones on the other side so far. Well, 4 bad diodes. Presumably that circuit, something, when one of the diodes in that circuit went, that probably killed the remaining 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would
Well,
be my guess, at least.
it could have also just been that when it fired off, it encountered some ungodly amount of amperage and just fried them. Because these early silicons, they couldn't support more than about, I don't know, probably about 2 amp. They weren't crazy good.
Yeah,
That's
23 is
why
good.
selenium was used for so long.
.22 is good.
Okay.
The question is, how am I going to fix this?
The rivet.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm slightly worried about.
You can solder it on, the rivet on.
Oh, come on, break loose.
They also did this cartridge thing probably because of heat. When you solder,
Yeah, 21 is good.
yeah, okay, so everything except the 415 section.
Yeah.
When you solder silicon transistors or diodes, and from this era, they were very sensitive to heat.
Oh, that's hyper annoying. It has 2 little screws that you can undo to loosen it up, and they stuffed one of the screws behind a transformer.
Hmm.
So I pretty much got to do it in situ here. Okay. Let me see if I've got some diodes out here.
Meter turned off.
Yep. Let's see, I've got some 1N4007s. I got quite a lot of 1N4007s. I think those are good to like 1 kilovolt, aren't they?
7. Well, you're not. You don't need to worry about that.
4004s. No, I mean that's just what I think what I remember offhand. I've got 1N4007s and 1N4004s.
You want.
And the replacements
Those
that I
are only
need.
1 amper. Yeah, you could get away with the 1 amp rating. I would.
Let's see,
4007s are fine.
These are 1N1449s. Let me data sheet that.
That is a 0.0. There's signal diode. You don't want that. Those are 0.3
No, no, no.
0.03 amp at 25 volt.
That's what came out of it. But I think you got the number dyslexiaed.
What'd you say?
I said a 1N1449.
Oh.
Not a 4149, which is a popular signal diode.
I can get you a Chicago key cut for a 1N449. Here we go.
Did you find a data sheet for it? I can't find a data sheet.
I found it.
Not a 449, a 1449.
1N.
Yeah, 1N1449.
I'm dyslexing it. Ah, my goodness gracious. Yes. Nope. Yeah, this is what I have issues with my Sony. Oh wait, Radio Museum. It's a 1.5 amp, 400 volt.
1.5 amp? Where did you find that at?
Radiomuseum.org. Here, I'll grab an image. Because if you don't have an account, it's kind of hard to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a Radio Museum account.
I've contributed enough that I actually have an account with credits to.
Adam posting the real painful meme.
Oh God.
Yeah, I've had these nights too.
It's just everything's busted. All right, 1.5 amp, 400 volt. That's a little more than what I think I've got on hand here. Let's see, the one in 4004. Is that what I've got? Yeah, we've got a 1N 4004, which is, oh, that's 1 amp, 400 volt.
Yeah, they're all 1
4007
amps.
is 1 amp, 1000 volt. And what were those? 1 amps?
1.5s, but you can just.
Oh, they were 1.5.
I don't think they're ever going to see that, especially on the 415 volt line. You can double them up if you really want.
Yeah, let me take a look at the schematic real quick. Which ones are these again? They're
You
CR 20.
One of my friends.
CR 25, 26, 27, and 28.
Yeah, I put a image of the stuff that tested good and bad above Robo's kill count nose art.
Those are series regulators. They give the.
And if you can't tell, it's 100% naturally created image. No AI involved.
Yeah.
The best kind, crappily photoshopped. My favorite.
All right, so we get a plus 415 unregulated out of that. But we also get.
Is it plus or minus? I thought.
Oh, it might be minus. I don't know. The schematic's not super readable here.
Let me look at how that's that. That is a. Oh, the way the diodes are facing, that's a negative supply. Oh no! What?
It doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative. All I care about is how much current it needs to push. So we also get a. It's all ground. So we also get plus 260, but that has a 1/8 amp fuse to ground on it, which is kind of a strange place to put a fuse.
It's the ground is through a 0.01 RFI cap.
Okay, yeah. So that plus 260 might be actually quite power hungry.
Well, it goes through 3 series regulators. Those are, I don't remember the tube number, but actually, let me look it up.
I think these are the
What's the tube?
biggest, gnarliest diodes that I've got, unless we want to go up to golf cart diodes. But then we don't have the voltage out of golf cart diodes.
Golf cart diode, unfortunately, will not work.
No. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about doubling
I've
diodes up.
dealt with those. That was my old job. They're
You're not supposed
good
to
to
do
normally
that. But...
about 55 volt. Actually, I think more. I think they're 100 volt.
I mean, we can try these, and if they pop, then try something else, I guess.
Well, are they Vichet? You just give me a Vichet.
I have no idea who made
code.
these.
What's the code on them?
1N4007.
1N4007 is not a golf cart diode.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the golf cart diodes. I'm talking about the 4007s. The golf cart diodes wouldn't be rated to 400 volts anyways.
No, I just double them up.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't like doing that, but I have a whole lot of other options.
The switching characteristics are so close that you'll have a little overlap, but it won't matter in 60 hertz.
Yeah, I mean, I think 1 amp is probably fine. So if we double it up, it's not like we're abusing it too bad.
Are these 1X 2Bs? No, they can't. What are these tubes?
One in one.
Oh, they're
yeah, I think they're.
Jeez.
I think these are all pretty much the same.
They're 1B4A, 12B4As. Let's see here. 12B4A. Frank's electronic tubes. Thank you.
Yeah, that is one of the greatest websites ever made.
Yeah, truly.
All right, the real problem comes with trying to figure out what orientation they go into, because I've completely lost track now.
That is a good question.
Yeah, well, let's see here. I think I can see 26 and 28 should be tied together, and 25 and 27 should be tied together. So I can find where 25 and 27 are tied together.
Really?
Yeah, right there. So that's 25 and 27 are tied together. So that's going to be the anode for those two.
What in the world? They are using the weirdest tube for this. I thought this looked familiar. These are vertical deflection amplifiers in TVs.
Oh, the tube?
The tube for regulating the 415 volt is just a sweep amp for television.
Okay.
Which means that each plate can only do about 5 watt.
All right. I think I might steal your fuse idea.
And we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 of them in parallel. So that's 15. That's 15. 16.5 watts for 15. 16.
A little too short.
That's not right. 415 enter.
Too long.
16.5 divided.
I need a 25 millimeter fuse.
25 milliamp. That doesn't.
Not milliamp. 25 millimeter. I have a
no. Oh, that's funny.
Problem going on.
No, I'm doing a calculation.
Oh. Yeah, you and I are talking about the same number, but in different contexts.
Different contexts. always forget how to do watts because it's a different. It's not IVR. It's something else.
These are going to be way too skinny anyways. So they're not going to fit in there properly. All right, your fuse idea was smart, but will not work.
You don't have the right one.
Yeah, because the spacing is not right. The fuses themselves are about 25 millimeters, and I've got 20 millimeter fuses, or not the fuses, the diodes are about 25 millimeters. I've got 20 millimeter fuses, which are too short, and I've got 30 millimeter fuses, which are too long.
Well, they got rivets. Stick them through the
Yep.
rivets and solder them in.
I don't want to stick them through the rivets because there's aluminum backing on the backsides. If I stick it too far, I then short out to the aluminum. Fun.
You can
I can just
fold
go to the
fold
tanks.
over the leads and yeah, go to the tanks. It's just ugly.
It's ugly, but it'll work.
Yeah, wrap them around the tangs and solder them in.
Yep. All right. 2, 4, 6.
Yeah, and what I was trying to do was figure out how many amps they're shoving through it, and supposedly, if I did the math right, it's 3 milliamp.
That doesn't seem that seems
Which very low. It doesn't seem right, but with those tubes, they can't supply a lot of juice.
yeah, but I don't know what the unregulated 415 is pulling as well.
Actually, you know what? I'm thinking about it wrong. It's just pulling down on the supply. They're not actually no, they aren't. Never mind.
All right. We're going to double them up. I don't like doing it, but we're going to do it.
That's such a weird way to regulate a circuit using sweep tubes in a constant current mode. Huh. I would have used a power beam tube. Yeah, Hokey, that's totally what this is. Pull the engine to change a spark plug.
Yeah, this is that that Malcolm in the Middle episode.
No, with the smoke detector, then
Yeah. Then the squeaky
smoke
drawer.
detector, the squeaky drawer.
Yeah. That's what we got
I
going on
can
right
get
now.
that. Yeah, the light bulb, that's what it was.
Oh, it was a light bulb, yeah. He was trying to change the light bulb, but the drawer was squeaky, so he had to get some WD-40, but he was out of WD-40.
Getting in the car, it made a noise, and it's such a good TV show. And then the remake was good too.
I hadn't seen the because they're it was like they're coming back, right?
Well, this was God, they started the second one in like 2010 or 2008. And then it went till at least when I graduated, so it's been at least 2018. It went for a while.
Oh, I thought they were just now bringing it back.
No, they did this a while ago. It was instead of Malcolm in the Middle, it was just The Middle.
I thought that was a different show altogether.
It is, but it was based upon the original.
Oh, no, they're bringing Malcolm and Malcolm in the Middle back with the original cast.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, that comes out that's coming out recent, like within the next few weeks, I think, or month maybe.
I had no idea. I posted the sequence in the chat for
Yeah.
those interested.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's the full original cast from Malcolm in the Middle. Bryan Cranston, the mom, Frankie Muniz, who's now an adult.
Yeah.
It's so the best fan theory I've heard was that Breaking Bad and Malcolm in the Middle are actually the same universe.
1 second. I'm going to give you something that will blow your mind.
Yeah, and it was that this was before the finale of Breaking Bad. Somebody had made this fan theory, and it was that Walter White goes into witness protection, and the witness protection family that he is given is episode 1 of Malcolm in the Middle.
Ha! That's a good one. I like that. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, but that was before the final season of it, where they, chain machine gun in the trunk with a bunch of weird, crazy drug dealers.
They did film an alternate ending that was on the DVD that was.
Oh yeah, I'm grabbing that right now. I'm putting it in chat.
Oh, I didn't know they filmed an alternate ending. I only saw the.
Yeah. When was it the Newhart show? Or Bob
Yes, it was Newhart. It was the Newhart show.
Newhart. And when it ended, they Suzanne Plachette came on, and it was the original set dressing from his previous show. It was all green.
Oh yeah, it was all a dream bit.
Right.
Oh.
And so for Breaking Bad, they brought in, was that Jane Kasmerick that played his wife on Malcolm in the Middle?
So.
Oh.
Yeah. And they did the same thing, but for Breaking Bad, that he dreamed he was a drug dealer and all this other stuff.
That how?
Oh, that was
the
done as a
character
gag,
Hal was
though.
your
It wasn't serious.
It wasn't
No,
a
it was an
series.
alternate.
Yeah,
It wasn't a serious ending. They did it as part of the gag reel.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And now, of course, there's a new Malcolm in the Middle series coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking, which I didn't know about.
Anybody else watch the end of Stranger Things?
Don't spoil it. I haven't watched it.
I won't spoil it.
But everybody was saying that they were going to riot if it was just all the kids. If they were still all kids, and they just said, "Well, that was a great Dungeons and Dragons campaign."
No. They didn't do that. The worst one like that was St. Elsewhere back in the 80s, where it was all the one kid's dream. But no, I liked it. I won't spoil it. I liked it. It was good.
28.
I've heard so many different opinions on that ending.
26.
The kid's name you were thinking of is Jimmy Westfall.
So let's see here. 28 and 26 are tied together on the anodes or the cathodes
It's a good story, right?
of the diodes. Right. Okay. I can do that. So the arrow points to where they're tied together on 26 and 28. All right. I can figure this out, I think. My poor laptop over there. The fan has been on at like max speed for like 2 hours now.
Well, if Asus isn't good for one thing, they have long life fans.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm exercising that fan for sure.
What's funny is that my my laptop just turned 14 and it's still chugging along just fine.
So did you know what the Stranger Things series was based on?
No, actually.
Is it related to
Montauk.
the Duffer
What?
Brothers' other TV show?
No. There was a radar dish on the end of Long Island in Montauk that was to watch for the Russians flying over. That part's real. In the '90s, a few people tried to capitalize on it by saying it was used for mind control
Oh
and all
God.
sorts of government secret projects and tied
What,
to
HARP?
Brookhaven. No, it was called the Montauk Project, and God, the Philadelphia Experiment, crap like that, stealing kids, controlling their minds, all sorts of
God.
giving them powers. I mean, no, these are books that were written back then that were originally nonfiction, supposed to be nonfiction. But that's what inspired the Duffer Brothers. It was originally called Montauk until they realized they didn't want to film it in near the Hamptons and have to deal with all that.
The other show they made was really good until you figured out, until they told you what the twist was, and then you were just like, oh, okay. Which I think
What
is
was the
why
other
it only
show?
lasted 2 seasons.
What was
I
their
forget the
other
name
thing?
of it. I forgot the name of it. If you look up the Duffer Brothers, it's the other TV show that they made.
Hmm.
I think it only had 2
I
seasons.
I don't see. I never got into the show, so
The Burrows or something very bad is going to happen.
What do you mean? The Burrows or something very bad is going to happen?
Oh no, I'm just looking up the other things the Duffer Brothers have done. Is one is called the Burrows, and the other is titled "Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen."
Oh no, it was neither of those.
the
Although
grounded.
these are upcoming
No.
Okay.
projects.
No, this one was like maybe 10 years ago or something. 20 years ago. It's an old show.
Wayward Pines, Hidden Vessel.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll have to dig it up.
Pines, the Pines one.
Okay.
Pines. I don't know that.
That one was good. I liked it.
Well, I came in at just the wrong moment, so I thought when you were talking about Burroughs, you were actually talking about the Vintage Computer Company.
Nope. I mean, we probably
No,
should be talking
no.
about vintage computers on a vintage computer channel.
Who done Burroughs
sounds
stuff?
correct.
Has anybody done Burroughs
Can't get
computers?
that hot.
That's an open market there.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a hard to find market.
Oh yeah, we've
Burrows
got
are
'em.
getting.
We need
Yeah,
a
I
forgotten
know.
machines person here.
Yeah. What's up, AJ?
Hey AJ.
Hey,
Happy holidays.
happy holidays, happy New Year, all that jazz.
Yep. Welcome to the suck.
Embrace the suck.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's been a rough night.
We're in the hard yards. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Or Dave's in the hard yards. We're cheering him on.
Struggle bus.
Yeah. It's been a bit rough today. We tore a flex cable completely in half on a different project, and then we pulled out the HP scope as a backup and immediately exploded 4 very hard to replace diodes. So it's been a struggle, and I can't get new diodes in place because I can't get the soldering iron down there. I can't get the thing loose because I would have to take out a whole lot of other stuff.
Well, one thing we should definitely test before we power this on after you figure out a way to do this is making sure the thermal relay hasn't welded itself closed. And just so you're aware, it did turn 1 a.m. just now.
Oh, it did? Damn. All right. Yeah.
That's usually a sign when I first arrive. It's late, you know.
Yeah, when AJ shows up, we know that
True.
it's a late
Early
night.
o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which
I wouldn't know
reminds
how to
me,
tell
I
if
have a
the
haircut in the morning. I need to go to
if the
sleep.
thermal delay had welded itself or not.
You look at the contacts and see if they're closed while it's cold.
Yeah, I don't know what's closed and what's open though.
The schematic shows it pretty clearly.
Yeah.
Jesus. Looking at their nominations, it's all for Stranger Things.
They spent like $100 million per episode or something. It was ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna revisit this project next week.
Yeah. You should
I'm
take a
gonna-
look at the video I put in there for the alternate ending of Breaking Bad. I think you'll get a kick out of it.
We'll do that when I get inside.
Mhm.
I need to try and find a suitable replacement diode for these. It would sure be nice if there were some that could click in like that. That I could just
There are,
pop in.
but they're going to be just as old.
Yeah, there's nothing modern to do that. Ugh.
You
Yeah.
could use the old diodes, but I don't. It's just that's not easy because
Oh,
you're
I
not
mean,
going to
I
have any of
don't
the rigidity anymore.
particularly care about what it looks like. I just want it to, function.
No, I know. You could also just crack open a fuse and then measure 25 millimeter and then pop them in.
Well, even that doesn't work quite well because the holders are all messed up. They've got the holders set up backwards in some cases because the diodes
You mind
had
taking a picture?
specific shapes. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it'll come across.
There's no pictogram on the in the docs. So.
There we go. So here we go. Here's a two pictures, and one showing an example of what the problem is with like popping something else in there. And that's because the diodes look like.
Oh, how? Oh, that is an interesting turret board. I see what you mean now about the aluminum backing.
Yeah. Slight concern if you go a little too deep.
Mhm.
But so like your fuse idea is a good idea. Like, get like a little whatever 0.1 amp fuse, blow it, solder a diode to it, and then pop that into the turrets. But you can see that like one of the turrets is upside down. Like it has that part that kicks in that the fuse is supposed to butt up against, but that's on the inside, not the outside. And that's because the diode has a recessed part further in that's supposed to pop into.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
Now, can you take the caps off of the diode, off the old diodes, and put the new diodes in between them and use like a piece of clear tubing to connect the end caps together?
Well, you don't even need to do that because once you stuff it on there, it'll hold it, and the diode would just be there.
True.
It doesn't. It can compress and whatever. That's why I was suggesting crushing uh, a fuse and just soldering it in, and then just mutilating the leads until it fit. But since it's like this, you can't do that.
And I can see why they did that. It's for polarity, obviously, but
Well, yeah, it was keyed.
Yeah.
They put these here for convenience. If you can trace where the wires go, you can just put them where they go.
Yeah. So the problem is not like I know where they go. I know where the diodes need to fit. The problem is that I can't get the soldering iron to the lower side. It's too tight. So I need to remove the entire turret board, but I can't remove the entire turret board without taking one of the transformers completely out. And taking a transformer out is a colossal effort.
Okay, here is stupid idea number 5053, whatever. You bridge the diode with the blob solder or something, and you unsolder the top, and then put a terminal strip on the other side.
See what you're saying?
And then you just unsolder all the leads on the top, make your diode bridge on the other side, solder it in, you're done.
If you want to start that job at 1 a.m.
Well,
No,
I'm
we're
not
not
starting
doing
that job
it
at 1 a.m. We're talking about what happens next week. I could just put bolts into the holders. Just snap the bolts in.
Yep. You could put bolts, but we still got to worry about the one that had the rivet break.
Yeah, that one is a different battle.
Actually, you know what? If you break off the rest of the holders, could you get your soldering iron in?
No. I gotta
With
get
the
the
top
turret
ones
board.
gone?
I gotta get the turret board off of that.
You can't get your soldering iron if you break off the top ones that don't have diodes in them?
I mean, I might be able to, but like, I don't want to do that.
No, I understand, but it might be easier than doing any of the things I'm suggesting.
Also, don't let anyone convince you to wrap a nail on the end of your soldering iron and use it as an extension. It doesn't
It
work.
doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Things I
I've
tried
done
when
it.
I was 9.
Well, I'm looking at the wires. So I could desolder the wires from the top and just put a diode between the turret and the wire, because the diode's going to be real short now, right?
Yes.
And I can do that. I think I can do that moderately cleanly. And so then I just need a bolt to snap in to the diode things, and that should be pretty easy. I can just go find some bolts out there that are the right size. The keying is a little annoying. I don't know how to overcome that other than bending the keying
just use
out
a
of the way.
22 bullet. Come on. Just have it audio visual.
I mean, I could do that. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean by the keying?
The one that is the broken one, the one with the broken rivet, that's a different battle.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball of wax. Yeah, but that's fighting
But
only one thing to solder instead of 5.
Yeah, we'll fight that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's focus on the 4 primary ones that are bad initially.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I think I can do that cleanly.
Oh, sorry. What did you mean by the keying? I'm looking at the pictures.
So if you look at the other side, you see how there are diodes. The anode is up versus down, and that uses, you know, a top hat diode where it has the flange.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm seeing it. I understand now.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, I think I can do this cleanly. I got to order. I'll place an order for some proper 1.5 amp, 400 volt diodes that match.
Just get some 3 amp. Trying to remember the.
Yeah, whatever. Just something that's bigger than the 1 amps that I've got, so that way I don't have to double anything up. So we'll place that order, and then next week we'll do that. We'll get those installed cleanly again.
We still don't have the original fault isolated though.
Well, that may have been the original fault, as one of those diodes may have gone. And then you had a cascading failure on the rest.
There we go. 1N5408.
Did anybody mention the cracked insulator on the blue wire yet?
The what?
The blue wire here, that's not a wire, that's a delay line.
I'm looking in the first of the 3 pictures you posted. There's looks like a blue cable.
Yeah, that's a delay line.
Okay. As long as it's not something high voltage.
No. That's the delay line so that you can it sends the input signal through that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I am slightly worried about K1, that relay.
Yeah, if that's welded shut, that's an issue.
How many volts is it?
Well, it's a delay. It's not something you can just easily replace.
No, I was thinking just with the device off, with the scope off, can you just put voltage to it, wait for the delay and see if it closes?
Well, that's not that we can just measure the output, the contacts. Oh, it's an ice cube?
No, well, K2 is an ice cube. K1 is a tube.
Yeah, I was going to say the delay relays are typically just an octal tube.
Yeah.
Can you get to it or no?
I've got it in my hand right now, so I just need to figure out how to test it, make sure that it's fine.
What's the number on it?
Long since departed.
That's the best kind. 1 second.
Yeah.
K1.
Looks like it was made by
well, thank you,
VW.
HP. Thank you, HP. It just says relay, thermal time. Very helpful.
Yeah.
It's you can literally see the contacts.
Yeah, no, I can see them, and I can see that they're not glued to each other, but like you have a normally open and a normally closed, and I don't know which one is supposed to be normally open and which one is supposed to be normally closed, right?
Well, I can tell you very easily which pins you can power. Off of.
Well, if you just tell me which pins are supposed to be normally open, I can just check that, and if they're open, then we know that the thing is good, right?
Well, the normally open ones are pins 5 and 6 and 4 and 8.
There's more than one.
They just paralleled them.
Oh, okay. All right, 5 and 6. See if I can remember how to count tubes. Boy, it's been a while.
Well, 1 and 2 are going to have the heater. So.
Yep, 1, 2. Sure about that 5 and 6? Because I'm seeing
the schematic
3.
Hard to read. 3 and 9.
Yeah, 3 and 9 are tied together. What are those?
Those are normally closed.
Okay, so 3 should be going. I should have a connection between 3 and the common, whatever the common is.
Which is 5 and 6, as near as I can tell from the blur.
Yeah. I got a connection between those, and then
Okay.
4
and 5.
4 should have no connection, which it doesn't. So I'm pretty sure this thing is
Good.
fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it just means that we don't have a connection. It means that currently we don't have a connection, which is what we want. So it's got to warm
Now,
up before that connection will happen.
K2 is another story because that's what the time delay kicks on.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's what I heard kicking off whenever the fuse blew, right? So K2 kicked on, we had power coming up, and then the fuse blew, and K2 kicked off.
And on the second round, everything was already blown up, so the fuse went right away.
Yeah.
And you know what? I would say we could power it on and test, but you know what? Since that one diode's gone, we can't. We'd have too much ripple.
Yeah. Yeah, if we had just the 4 missing, I think we could power it on and test. But with that extra 5th one bad, we would just end up blowing 3 more diodes.
That would just introduce ripple. It wouldn't blow up, but it wouldn't be happy.
It's like an old car. If you let a car sit for 3 years, it's not coming back without a couple of hiccups.
Yeah, this is a bit more hiccups than I was hoping for, but hiccups and weird. Everything on this scope is like imminently accessible except for those. So it's the one thing that's a giant pain in the butt to get to.
Well, if we were living in the 60s, getting the replacement.
Yeah,
getting the
if we
replacement.
were living in the
pop it
60s, you would just pop them out and pop the new ones in, and the turret wouldn't be broken. You'd be good to go. All right, so I'm going to order some new diodes. And we'll do the bolt trick to fix 4 of them. That 5th one, we're just going to have to get creative on. I might be able to solder the bottom turret back in place and then reuse the diode. We'll try that. I got to get it real hot and then flood it with solder. But we'll give that a shot.
Bring in the Weller gun.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I've seen them used on old tube stuff.
I got to clean all that
Soon
up.
may the
Sign
Weller
off.
gun come.
Film tomorrow too. All right. All right. Well, for all the people in Twitch land, sorry I didn't chat with y'all much today, but it was kind of a crap day. We broke everything we touched. That's how it goes, I guess. Next week we'll fix this for sure. We'll get this going. I really want my scope back because I want to put this thing next to the G15 because I think I feel like those two should be with each other. They have
Has this been next to the new scope?
Huh?
Have you had this one next to the new scope?
Oh, not the Siglent, the Keysight.
Well, they are great grandchildren. Well,
Yeah.
you know, the Keysight.
Yeah. This was HP's first flagship, and that's kind of one of their newest flagships, right? So,
Yep.
Yeah, they're definitely related in a sense. No, I haven't had it. I haven't had this thing out in probably 2 years, actually, is probably a more accurate guess. Which is
it's been
like
a long
criminal.
time.
It's like it's such a beautiful scope. Absolutely criminal. And this is the dual. So we've got the dual input. This this unit that you can like slide out and swap. And I picked up another one on eBay. I don't know where I got this forever ago, but this is a high gain amplifier for a single input. It's missing all the tubes and it's filthy, but I really want to get this one going. So that was kind of what I was hoping we would get to today, but we didn't get that far. But I've got all the correct tubes that go in it, and it just needs a deep clean. And then it should plug right into the plug back here. We need to 3D print new knobs for it. And I've never done 3D printing, so that's something that I'll bring the 3D printer out. And you guys can walk me through how to 3D print stuff.
Not
And
I.
then, yeah, somebody can.
Yeah,
it has a couple of broken mounts on the back that we need to make a fix for. So it's in pretty rough shape, but this is kind of a restoration project that I've really wanted to do for a very long time. And it'll just slot right in the front here, and then we can have, you know, 2 different types of changeable modules for, like, you know, testing different things. And it's such a beautiful scope, and it has such a similar design aesthetic and construction style to the G15 that I really want to get them together. So yeah, next week we'll work on this thing. I'm excited. I've been excited. This is one of my all-time favorite pieces of equipment, and I've been mad at myself for a full year that it's not in here in the room, and so finally we're gonna fix that. Yeah.
You got to start doing the oh god, what's his name, Mr. Carlson thing, and start hanging stuff in the ceiling.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna the room is gonna get like a massive reorganization going on. There's some new stuff coming. There's a certain person that I want to come down and help me move stuff around. They might be listening. And when that happens, we're gonna get the G15 in its proper spot, and I want to get this kind of next to it. I would love to find the original rack that this thing was supposed to go on, but I don't think I'll ever find that. So I think we're probably going to build a little stand for it. So I want it to be like the NCR, the G15, and then like the HP oscilloscope, and maybe we'll slip in the 200 CD wide range oscillator, and have that just be like my vacuum tube corner. Right, because the NCR is an all tube machine. And then, you know, obviously the G15 is. This is all tube test equipment. The 200 CD is a tube oscillator that creates a beautiful sine wave. I don't know where it is. I think it's out in the garage too. So, but we got to find a place to put it, and I think we can make it all fit. But we got to do some like clever reorganization. One of the things is that I think we've got to get that LGP21 into a corner. And build a little corner table as a, you know, maybe with a bookshelf on it back there. And then we need to build a new desk for the BOMIM, and that needs to go up against that wall with the
Do you want me to
microscope
just
over there.
post that chart you made?
Yeah. If you got it handy.
Yeah, just scroll up, grab it.
So there's a lot of things that got to move around.
Switch. Boom, boom, enter.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so if anybody's looking on the Friday Night Twitch channel, so the G15 over in the corner with the typewriter, that's just kind of like I set that there temporarily. I would like maybe the G15 to come a little closer to the wall, and the HP scope to go between it and the LGP CPU table over there. You know, and then the LGP needs to be in a corner, and we got to build a table that sits in that corner to kind of connect the LGP table to the LGP tape. And that's just going to be like a little square table that we build, that will hide the Wi-Fi router for the room, but also,
IKEA.
you know, yeah. And also we'll, put books, you know, build a little bookshelf there so that I can put all of the documentation for the LGP right there, right? So that way you sit at the table, you got all the books at hand, and then you got your 2 tape drives, the tape reader and the tape punch right off to your right side. So it's like, that feels like a really good way to make use of the LGP floor space. And then, you know, the Bendix with the HP 150A in that kind of corner. And then we have the NCR typewriter with the NCR computer I just took a guess on the size of those things, so I don't know how accurate that is. And then there's
I
going
think
to
they're
be
pretty
UE.
big.
Yeah, they are. But also I outlined quite a bit of space for them. So, and then UE1 with UE2 underneath it. So that whole side of the wall from the door all the way up to that way. So anybody that's looking on Twitch, so from this corner of the door here all the way to the edge of the room, that's going to be just UE1, UE2, NCR, Bendix G15, all vacuum.
And you moving your bookshelf to where?
The
on the other
bookshelf
side
is
of the
going
door, it
on the
looks
other
like?
side of the door. Yeah, it's going right over here.
Okay.
Over here. And then where the Centurion is, the reason I haven't put anything against this wall is because the Centurion, I need to like get to that inner edge of the Centurion, but the Centurion is all going to move over to a different wall. And then the scanning electron microscope is going to fit in that corner, but that SEM is so big and you kind of sit in the center of it that you don't particularly need to get to that far right edge. So I think having the bookshelf there won't impede the scanning electron microscope too much. And so the SEM will probably come out to maybe not, probably to where the end of the Centurion is now. So then the BOMEM and all of that will rotate over and go into that corner right over there. So it'll be, BOMEM, PDP 1173, scanning electron microscope. That's the science wall. And then coming down this wall is Centurion, is that bookshelf. That bookshelf will rotate over to this wall, and then Centurion printer, Centurion, and then PDP 1144. PDP 1144, and then as we move down, we get into whatever machines we're going to keep: Lytton, TI 980, ASR 33, Data 620 leaves. The Data 620 is going up to the Large Scale Systems Museum. So Dave McGuire expressed an interest in it. So that's going up that way. And so that's going to be the kind of the current layout, or that's the layout of the room that I'm hoping. It's very dependent upon the scanning electron microscope showing up. We don't know when that's going to happen. And the NCR machine showing up.
Soon, TM.
Yeah, so I need to talk to Justin. He's the guy who's got it, and he said he had a job coming up early 2026 in Oklahoma, and so he was gonna just make the extra step down from Oklahoma to here, and bring the SEM. So I need to chat with him and see when that is. See if we've got a date on that.
That's a leap, still.
Oklahoma's only about 5 hours from here.
Actually, that's not that bad. I thought it was more.
Yeah. You got to remember the speed limit in Texas is 110 everywhere you go.
That's true.
Yeah.
What's hilarious is that my speedometer only goes to 120.
Yeah. Yeah. I was in the Cedric, so it was all in kilometers, but I was up on the express lane in Dallas, and I was just pacing the dude in front of me, and I was like, I was making incredible time, and I was like, boy, we are really booking. We must be hauling ass. And I looked down, and I was doing 175 kilometers an hour, which is I think about 105 miles an hour.
Yeah, 110.
Yeah, I was like, oh, no wonder we're making good time. Jesus.
And it took it like a champ.
Yeah. Oh no, that thing is a freight train, man. The Cedric is great. Like it's maybe 0 to 60 in like 9 seconds. But then like 60 to 120 is also 9 seconds. Like it just picks kind of a leisurely acceleration, and it just maintains that forever. Yeah, that thing just keeps going. It'll cruise all day long at 100 miles an hour. It's great.
What year is it?
96. Like mid 90s, man. That's peak Japan. The best cars in the world were built mid 90s in Japan.
I
Right,
mean,
right before the bubble burst.
I mean, I got a friend with a what was it? It's a 73 Corona.
Okay. Going old school.
Yeah, they got it. I don't think they're on the server, but they're on RTC. That thing hates going over 65. In fact, in the manual it says don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the thing about Japan is that there's no posted speed limit anywhere that's higher than 100 kilometers an hour. I think maybe I saw a 110 once in all the driving that I did in Japan. But everywhere you go, 100 kilometers an hour is the speed limit, which is 62 miles an hour. So they never geared anything to go faster, much faster than that.
But
at
his
least in
is
the 70s.
His is the deluxe. It has the 5-speed. It's on the. It's got a badge on the back.
Yeah, it's my Bellet. I have my 1973 Bellet. I cruise it at 65, and it's like 4,000 RPM.
Okay,
it is not happy about it, but it's
my favorite. I'm trying to remember. There's a car. There's a lot of Japan cars that do this. That if you go over the speed limit, it has a little dinger.
Has a little bell. Yep, the Bellet had it. I had it. It wasn't a ding dong. It was a on the Bellet. So I disconnected that real quick. On the AE86 I had, that was the famous King Kong. The Cedric doesn't have it. By the time you got into the 90s, they kind of removed that. That was more of a 70s, 80s thing. The Beat doesn't have it, but the Beat has a speed limiter at 140K, I think.
Oh, I can only imagine like on the Datsuns that had the little record player in it. That
yep.
If they decided to actually make that a voice phrase, it's like too fast.
Yep. Door is ajar. Door is ajar.
I don't remember putting jam in the door.
All right. It's 1:30. I need to go to sleep. All right, Twitch. Good night, guys. Thank you guys for joining. We'll catch you next week.